Ooh, what is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. I just felt like doing my intro tonight, guys. Trying to pull up the chat on my phone. I don't know why the live stream is not popping up, but it is what it is. I'll just have the chat open on my laptop. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Escapes? What's going on, Louis Bram? What's going on, Pumpkin? David in the house. Harrison Jolly in the house. SOD Cheese in the house. Bradley in the house. What's going on, John Gregory? What's going on, X-Man? What's going on, Lamel Sinclair? Anthony Raza. Brandon Rogers. Kyle Petrano. Melvin Martinez. Ragdo. Wow, we got a packed house tonight. We got a packed house tonight. Thank you to everybody for being here. What's going on, Big Daddy? What's going on, Jersey? Joey. Nikki in the house. My guy, Chris Leone. A Machine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Chris, thought you were on a boat. What's up, Sabrina? What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well out there. Obviously, the NFL draft now is complete. Now we're kind of waiting. I think the schedule comes out in about 6 days. Waiting to see if the New York Giants make any other. Harrison Jolly, man, thank you so much, man, for the love, man. Dollar donation, I appreciate that. We're kind of waiting for the schedule to come out, see where we're going to be playing. Hopefully, we have a season. I think we're going to. Whether it starts a month later, that remains to be seen. And we're waiting on other potential small moves. I'm excited to get to hear more about these prospects we've brought in. I'm looking forward to doing more research on some of the undrafted free agents. I'll definitely have some videos up on them throughout the week. I've done most of the draft picks. There's a couple of seventh-round draft prospects I haven't done yet, but I'm sure I'll have some videos up on them as well. But, just really looking forward to the new players, the new head coach, Joe Judge. And hopefully we have a season ahead, but just going live, talking New York Giants with you guys when there's not a lot of sports to talk about right now. What's going on, Jawad? What's going on, Jersey? Joey? I saw a schedule leak today about the upcoming schedule for the New York Giants, and I don't know how real it is. It probably isn't on Twitter, but the league schedule, I think, had the New York Giants opening with the Redskins, and they were playing the Cowboys week 3 and 16, which would be music to my ears. I'm sick and tired of having to go to Dallas every year at the beginning of the season, and I'm sure we'll get into some Dak talk tonight and that whole fiasco they got going on over there, bringing in Andy Dalton to be the quarterback. Now, Afghanistan, I don't know how legit that is. And what's going on, Donovan? I appreciate that. What's going on, James? Thanks for being here. Did you hear that Vance Joseph is playing Isaiah Simmons only at middle linebacker? A Machine, I did not hear that. Is that official? I did not hear that. That's interesting. My personal opinion on Simmons, I think he might be better suited to play the safety position. That's just my personal opinion. With his speed and everything else, or at least a hybrid, playing both the linebacker and the safety. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but obviously I don't know the Arizona Cardinals defense well enough in terms of what they plan to do. With the Giants, I would think he'd be playing all over the football field. I don't know their system well enough to, say how I would want to use him if I was an Arizona Cardinal fan. But I'm a little bit surprised if that's the case, if they're playing him exclusively at the linebacker position. What's going on, Brandon? Thanks for popping in. Austin in the house. Definitely. Well, I don't think we're getting Juju. And my dog's barking already. She was barking before I went live. Was hoping she would calm down. Not going to happen. I don't think we're getting Juju. Definitely don't think we're getting Juju. When you look at the draft class this year, doesn't make sense to get Juju. Why am I going to pay $20 million a year, which is what it'll cost if he has a good year this year, for a guy that plays predominantly in the slot when I could draft a top-tier wide receiver in the second round? Why would I do that? I made that video today because several of my subscribers asked me to make a video on it, whether or not the New York Giants would be interested in Juju Smith-Schuster. Doesn't make sense. You have the deepest wide receiver draft class in forever. Doesn't make any sense. We absolutely need an edge rusher. I'm looking forward to diving into some of the free agents. I haven't gotten an opportunity to look at all the free agents. I'm going to have a video up on that as well, talking about the future free agents potentially for the New York Giants, specifically at the edge rusher position. I know that you got Bosa on there. Obviously, the older Bosa, Melvin Ingram, I believe, is on there as well. I'll look into that. Now, one thing you guys are going to be upset about, I started diving into the New York Giants cap situation. After they extended Evan Ingram and after they extended Peppers, they don't have nearly as much as you may think, and they didn't backload the contracts that they were initially going to backload, and they kind of made it even throughout the next 3 or 4 years with some of the free agents that they brought in. I I think you guys are going to be a little bit disappointed with how much cap space we're going to have. Right now, from what it says on Sport Track, and I don't know if this accounts for the draft or not, before cuts, the New York Giants have $45 million in cap space after everything. Oh, thank you so much, man. Killy, man. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, man, for the $5 donation. It says, Clone Wars just finished, and I'm absolutely devastated. Amazing, amazing series. Please, Giants, win the Super Bowl to fill the void. Obviously, it's Star Wars. You talking about the movie? I know they made a movie called Clone. I am not the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. I've seen all the movies. My favorite one is Rogue One. That was my favorite one, but I'm not a huge Star Wars guy. But yeah, hopefully the Giants do win a Super Bowl. Yeah, we have 45 million as of now. 45 million as of now. Now, of course, we're gonna have an additional 14 when you cut Solder. That brings it up to 59. You have the ability to potentially cut Zeitler. That would give you another 12, but I don't know if they would elect to do that. They don't have nearly as much cap space as we initially did with all these new changes. But, of course, we now have Evan Ingram and Peppers on the roster. That's where that cap space goes. What's going on, Isaiah? Thanks for popping into the stream. Clone Wars was a TV show. Okay. Thank you, Hot Nickels, man. I appreciate you for popping in, man. No, Joe Anderson. Rogue One was awesome. I thought so. I don't know. I'm not good with the names, but Rogue One was awesome. The other ones in the new series I did not like that much, but Rogue One was great. Let's see what we got here. What's good? And I'm sorry, sports expert. You never have to apologize. I appreciate you watching my videos, man. You're not even a Giants fan. Don't need to have a ton of cap space. Good teams don't have a bunch of space every year, nor are they. Well, James, I say that all the time. The best teams, James, don't spend in free agency. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a perfect example. Pittsburgh Steelers, I think the most they've spent in an offseason is like $30 million in the last 6 years. They don't spend in free agency because they use their cap space to retain the players that they draft because they draft so well. The way to win in the NFL is in the draft, and I think the Giants are going to use whatever money they have. Let's say they have $60 million in cap after they cut Solder, and maybe they make some other revisions, whatever it may be. I would use a good portion of that to extend Saquon Barkley. Get that out of the way, like I've said time and time again. Oh, man, thank you so much, man. Joseph, for the $2 donation. Entertainer, thanks for all the great content. Joseph, man, thank you for being a great subscriber. Thank you for watching all my videos. I see you comment all the time. What's going on, Shake Money? Go Marlins. Go Mets. Hopefully I get to call a game for you this year. Mets Marlins. That'd be fun. And Greg with the $5 donation. Sorry I'm late. Happy to make this thing okay last time. Greg, you never have to apologize. Thank you for being a member, by the way. I'm looking forward to doing the member stream next week. So I saw that you commented on that, so I'm looking forward to that. Clone Wars has won. What is Clone Wars on? What's going on, Andrew Christopher? Thanks for popping in the stream. What's going on, World Star, man? Thanks for being here, buddy. New York Flight, man. Thank you so much, man, for the $5 donation. He says, speaking of saving money, I save 15%. I save 15% of my car insurance by running away from the accident. But is that what Geico does? Isn't that what Geico does? They save 15%. They run away from the accident. What's going on, New York Flight? Thanks for popping in, buddy. Disney Plus. Okay, Disney Plus. So that's what the okay, I didn't know. I've watched that show. I didn't know it was called Clone Wars. My brother is the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. I've got to catch up on that show. I watched like the first 6 or 7 episodes. I really liked it. I got to catch up on it though. Word. Nobody ever has to apologize. You don't have to. I appreciate you guys for being here. Oh, okay. I was thinking Mandalorian, Sonor. I was thinking Mandalorian. Javon Leak reminds me. I'll tell you what about Javon Leak, and I'll get to that 1 second, Seed. I'll tell you. And by the way, guys, I try to get to everybody's comments. I don't try to ignore anybody. I see some people in the chat sometimes saying I don't try to ignore anybody. As far as the running back Javon Leak goes, Stiltman, and by the way, I called Stiltman Slitman for a year or however long he was subscribed to my channel. He finally corrected me like 2 weeks ago. So Stiltman, Javon Leak, to me, from what I've seen on the tape, I'm impressed. Obviously I haven't watched every game. I've watched highlights. I've read some things about him. But he's tall. He's relatively fast. I think he can compete definitely to make this roster. May even be the backup running back. It wouldn't shock me. Dion Lewis has not been good the last 2 years. Obviously, Wayne Gallman might not even make the team. Javon Leak, if he has a really good training camp, will definitely carve out a niche on this roster. He may even be used in special teams in the kick return game. Seed, man, thank you so much for the $2 donation. I appreciate it. Thoughts on Micah Parsons and Greg Rousseau? Again, I haven't done all my homework on those two prospects. I know those are the two primary prospects that people are looking at from the defensive side of the football for next year's draft. I am going to have a video on them. I'm definitely gonna look into them. I'm gonna have so many videos because we got nothing to talk about right now. There's no sports in the world. I'm gonna do as many videos as I can. Obviously, I want it to be good content, but I'm gonna look into next year's draft class. I'm gonna look into those two prospects in particular. Rousseau's supposed to be the best edge rusher in the class. I've seen some highlights. He looks impressive. Parsons, the standout linebacker. I would prefer Rousseau. I think we need an edge rusher, and by all accounts, he's the best one. Now, some of my subscribers tell me that he's overrated. Some tell me he's unbelievable. But I'm looking forward to looking more into those two prospects and just looking into the draft class as a whole in general. And I'll have some videos up in the next week or so talking about the free agent class next year, the future cap space, next year's draft, things along those lines. But thank you so much, Philip, man. I appreciate it. Let me see here. Oh, man. Freddie, man. Thank you so much, Freddie, man. Stand up, new member. Welcome to the channel, Freddie. I appreciate that, man. What's going on? Jamar Chase. Everybody wants Jamar Chase. Everybody wants Jamar Chase. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I know he's the hot target. There's so many good wide receivers in next year's class. I don't want Jamar Chase. You know why? You know why I don't want Jamar Chase? For everybody that's saying Jamar Chase, I don't want to finish in the bottom 5 picks. I want to finish 32nd. I don't want Chase. I gotta win 3-4 games to get Jamar Chase. I don't want Jamar Chase. I want to win 8, 9, 10 games. I don't want to win. I don't want to have to sit through another 4-win season. I want to start winning football games. Let's see what we got here. Chris Sonor says, imagine not having over 100. Oh, God, Sonor. Oh, God. Hey, man, can you do that? I am going to try. Tago, I'm going to try to do that for sure. Chris, take this to the bank. We're not picking in the top. Mizrahi, man, I love the confidence, man. I love the confidence, man. Pass rusher all day. I want a pass rusher. We need that's what we need on this defense right now. We absolutely need a pass rusher. We'll see with Marcus Golden because as it's getting closer, guys, we might get Marcus Golden back. We have to wait and see, but we might get Marcus Golden back on a $5 million deal. Which, if you would have told me that when the offseason started, I would have called you crazy. I would have said, "There's no way we're getting Marcus Golden for $5 million." I thought for sure he's getting at least $10, $11 million on a 3-year deal. Now, he has, I think, till July 22nd to sign an offer. But we might end up getting him. And even though I'm not in love with Marcus Golden, I don't think he fits our scheme particularly well. He'd be a nice cherry on top this offseason because we could use another edge rusher. I'd be happy with that. I do not think we get Clowney. I'd be surprised. I'd be very surprised if we get Clowney. Who would you compare Xavier to? World Star Funny Vid says. Xavier McKinney? I mean, he's not. I'm not saying he's not. There's no way he's going to be this good. But how do I think he'll be implemented in the New York Giants defense? Troy Polamalu. I think that type of role for the New York Giants. I remember watching Polamalu. I'm a huge Polamalu fan. One of my favorite players I've ever watched outside of the New York Giants. He's a Hall of Famer. McKinney's not going to be that, but I think he'll be implemented in that way. I'm not going to say he's not going to be that, but I'm not going to go in with expectations that he's going to be that. But Polamalu was a guy they used all over the field. They used him, in blitzes, in coverage. They moved him around, and he was kind of a jack-of-all-trades player. I think that's what Xavier McKinney's going to be. Now, he's not as flexible as Simmons, because Simmons is a middle linebacker. He's 240 pounds. But McKinney's a guy you could use all over the field, and that's how I expect the New York Giants to use him. Golden on this team will be a situational pass rusher. 100%. He's not going to, especially if they bring him back. With some of the guys they brought in, guys like Fackrell and everybody else, he'll be a situational pass rusher. He's not going to be an every down player, which is all we need him for. That's what we want him for. We want him for those second and longs, those third and longs. The guy's not a good run defender. He's not good in coverage, but he is good at getting after the quarterback. So if you get him on a $5 million deal, that would help our pass rush. I'd be completely for it, man. Could Slayton become an elite? Can Slayton become an elite deep threat? Yes. Yes, I think he. Why not? Why couldn't he become an elite deep threat? He's tall. What he run? I don't know. His 40 time was what, like 4.39, 4.4. He's tall. Maybe it wasn't that fast, but fast. He could go up and catch the 50-50. Yeah, why not? Why couldn't he be? The book on Slayton coming out was that he could run vertical. He had a limited route tree. Not the best of hands. Last year, seemed like he had pretty good hands. Was more advanced in terms of running routes than I thought he was going to be. But everybody always thought he could be a deep threat. I see no reason why he couldn't be a very good deep threat in the NFL at a bare minimum. I am not going to go as far to say that I think Slayton's going to be an elite wide receiver, but I think he can be a very good one, and definitely a number 2. I'm a big fan of Slayton. I think Slayton's going to have a big year for the New York Giants. Matter of fact, I think Slayton's going to lead the team in receiving. I really believe that. Shake Money, man, thank you so much for the $5 donation, man. I appreciate it. I hope the Marlins and Mets become a good rivalry, especially since we have a former Yankee as the owner to be the cherry on top. Yes, Derek Jeter. What was with that, Shake Money? You guys gave Stanton away to the New York Yankees for a bag of peanuts. Can you explain that to me? I mean, I know his contract was atrocious, and it worked out for you guys because he's been hurt with the New York Yankees. But you guys got to be good first before we have a rivalry, and so do we. Mets haven't been that good either outside of 2015. What's going on, Miguel? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Am I Indian? No. I know the lighting might look like I am. I have to use the bad camera when I do these live streams. But what's going on, man? Glad to see you in the chat, Miguel. He says, what's up, brother? What's the story on Cam Brown disliking the Cowboys? What did he say? Oh, Miguel, yeah, real quick. I don't remember the exact quote. He basically said, it was in 2013, but Cam Brown said the Cowboys are ass. That was what he said. And I think he was a Redskin fan, if I'm not mistaken, but he definitely shares a hatred for the Dallas Cowboys, which is a good start if you're a New York Giant. Mr. Clocks, man, thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate it, man. $5 donation says, good job, pal. It's fun. I get home from the hospital and check you for what's happening with my Big Blue crew. I need this, Bubba. Keep on keeping on, pal. Mr. Clocks, well, first off, I hope you're healthy. I don't know what you got back from the hospital from, but I hope you're healthy. Thank you for being a great subscriber, man. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate that, and I'm gonna keep I love doing this. You guys inspire me. I say it all the time to work as hard as I can, so I'm gonna keep making as many videos as I can. Sometimes it's hard to come up with topics, but when I can come up with a topic, I'm gonna make a video on it. So I appreciate you, man. Be safe, be healthy, and thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Chris B. Krager with the $2 donation. He says Slayton is gonna be a Pro Bowler. He's my favorite wide receiver right now. I think he could be. I'm not ruling that out. I think he fits the system very well. I'm not going to put those expectations on him going into the year, but I think he could have a very strong year. I'm going to say that right now. And Johnny Boy, man, thanks for the love, man. Fist. Bump. Who do you think we start at center? Chris, where did you get $45 million? SportTrack. SportTrack.com right now says the New York Giants have $45 million, but it's really $60 million because they get $14 million when they cut Solder. Everybody knows they're cutting Solder. So they got about $59-60 million. And that's before any restructuring, any cuts. And you know how it works, Sonor. You know how it works. You could always make room if you need to here and there. You could backload contracts. What's going on, Jared? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. I appreciate you for being here. Who do we start at center? Do I have a Twitch? I do not. But right now, center's between 3 players. Center's between 3 players, and I would say Spencer Pulley right now is the favorite. The other 2 don't have any experience playing the position. Nick Gates came in as a guard. He's played some tackle. And Lemieux has never played center in a game, at least to my knowledge, definitely at the collegiate level. So if you're asking me right now, I would think Pulley's got to be the favorite. Now, is it possible Lemieux goes in there, blows him away, wins the position? Absolutely. Is it possible that Gates proves he could play the position? Sure. But if you ask me right now, I would say that Pulley's probably going to get the start to start the year, because of familiarity playing the center position. If he doesn't play well, they're going to give Gates a chance, or they're going to give Lemieux a chance. And the other thing, I don't think it would happen this year, but another option they could have, if Lemieux can't work out at center, maybe he works out at guard, maybe they could shift Hernandez to the center. Maybe, they have options down the line. That's why Joe Judge is, talking about flexibility, having the option to move guys around on that offensive line to fill holes when needed. But this year, if you ask me going in, Spencer Pulley's going to be the center. Oh, man, Killy, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I appreciate it. He says, I agree, Anthony. I think Lemieux's a guard right now. I think they're going to try him at the center to see what he's got, but I agree. I don't think he's going to be a center. At least not this year, or to start the season. Last €5 till payday tomorrow. Massive fan of the channel and big love from Ireland. Keep up the great content. First off, thank you so much for love, man. And that is one country, Killy, I've got to go to. My sister's been there. I am part Irish. I am about 30%, 33%. That is one country I definitely need to go to. That's on my bucket list. I want to go to Ireland really bad. I appreciate the love, man, and thank you for being a big part of the channel. Opinion on Victor. Benjamin Victor, the wide receiver. I mean, I don't know enough about him yet. You know, I've seen highlights. I've read scouting reports. He's got to prove himself, just like all these undrafted free agents. My opinion, he went undrafted for a reason. Does he have potential? Sure. But he went undrafted for a reason. It is a very deep wide receiver class, though, so maybe in another draft he would have went 5th, 6th round. I think, from what I've read, I think he fits our offense very well. He's tall, was a red zone target throughout his career at Ohio State, and I definitely think he'll get an opportunity to make the team. He's a guy I'm rooting for all 4 of those guys. But Victor, to me, is one of the favorites to make the roster out of the 4 undrafted rookie free agents. But yeah, at the wide receiver position. But who knows? You know, it's all going to depend on how they play in training camp, how they play in preseason, and establish themselves. But he, to me, fits what they'd be looking for a wide receiver, a tall threat on the outside. What's going on, Justin Leon? Thanks for popping in the stream. Reese and John, we'll see. Reese and John, I could see them playing a bit at the tight end. I know that, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I thought I read an article that John was drafted in the Canadian Football League, or at least put his name in the hat. I can't remember. But he's going to come in here. He's going to compete. If you ask me, probably not going to make the team. Not right away. Now, will he be put on the practice squad? Yeah, more than likely. But I would consider him a longer shot than some of the others. He doesn't have any real experience playing college football at a high level. He's tall, but still a project probably. Now, could he make it? Yeah. Is he going to be a guy a lot of fans are rooting for? Absolutely. Oh, man, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, Mr. Clocks. He says, thanks, Chris. I'm okay. I work in the ICU. Oh, well, that's just as dangerous as any job right now. So, the intensive care unit. Yeah, man, hopefully you're staying safe out there, man, because it's no joke right now. So, I got a friend who's a doctor. He works in Manhattan, and he was actually on the news. He's saying it's crazy right now. So, hopefully everything's all right, man. Let's see what we got here. Who's your favorite overrated? All right, so who do I think is the most overrated team in the NFL right now? Okay, so when you ask me that question, a lot of people might not like this answer, but you're asking me overrated. When I hear overrated, to me that means playoffs. That means Super Bowl contender potentially. That means a team with very high expectations. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, plain and simple, overrated. I don't believe in them. Could they make the playoffs? Yeah. Are they a Super Bowl contender? Absolutely not. Would I be surprised if they missed the playoffs? Absolutely not. Tom Brady is 43 years old. They're hyping that team up like they're the Cleveland Browns from last year. Tampa Bay Bucs are my most overrated team. Not even close. Not even close. Let's see what we got here. Give me the team's best draft outside of ours. I love the Panthers and the Broncos did. Let me see here. The team that drafted the best outside of ours, the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens had the strongest draft. Dallas Cowboys, I hate to say it, had a very strong draft as well. Cowboys and Ravens are definitely up there. I hate to admit that, but they did. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a video on this probably in a couple of days. Need the time to really sit down, and because that video will take a while because I want to make sure I do it right. I'm going to do the entire NFC East. Our division as a whole had a really good draft. I know the Eagles didn't have a good first 2 days, really, specifically in the second round, but the Eagles had a really strong day 3. The Redskins had a strong draft. The Cowboys had a great draft, and we had a great draft. So our division as a whole had a strong draft, but if I had to pick 2 teams outside of the Giants that I really like, the Ravens and the Cowboys. Let's see what we got here. Do you feel Dylan has a chance to make the roster? Yes. NFL DNA what's going on, Danny, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. NFL DNA, at the end of the day, and thank you for popping in the stream, and like I said, I'm going to try to answer your questions. Yes, at the end of the day, man, you can't teach speed. Speed is an incredibly valuable asset in the NFL. Special teams, right? That is something that Joe Judge preaches. If this guy can help in the kick return game, he's going to get every opportunity. We'll have to wait and see if he gets it, but yes, I think Derek Dillon, because of his speed, could make the team. if nothing else for special teams purposes. Do I think he'll have a legitimate role in terms of the wide receiver core if everyone stays healthy? No. The guy has like 500 yards career receiving yards in college. Now, I know a lot of that had to do with the fact he played for LSU. He's sitting behind a first-round pick in this year's draft and Jamar Chase next year. But, yes, I think he can make the team for his speed alone. Yes. Let's see what we got here. Marcus Golden is... I'm not a huge Marcus Golden guy. I like Marcus Golden. He's a high-effort guy, but I don't think he fits our defense. But for $5 million, yeah, let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. I'll take him as a situational pass rusher. Absolutely. Let's see what we got here. I like the moves made by all the New York franchises. Buffalo looks the closest. I'll tell you what, Donald. I'll tell you what. What's going on, Meat? Thanks for popping in the stream. Can I do a game-by-game... what's going on, Bad Dog? Yeah, I'm going to do a game-by-game breakdown after the schedule comes out, talking about, and it's way too early, by the way, to do record predictions, and it's all for entertainment purposes. We're not going to know what these teams are going to look like when they play, who's going to be hurt, who's going to be sick. We don't know. But, yes, I will have a video up on that for sure. And I was going to answer something I think that Delano said. I want to make sure I get to it. What did he say again? I forgot. I'll get back to it. Oh, there it is. I like the moves that... Yeah, Buffalo. Yeah, but to me, Buffalo, don't sleep on Buffalo. Buffalo, to me, is going to win the AFC East. I think they have an incredibly talented team. And I said it in my Discord last night. People laughed at me. I don't care. I'm going to tell you right now. And I'm not going to say he's going to put up gaudy stats because that's not the type of player he is. But a guy that's going to get a lot of respect this year, he's going to win a lot of games, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills are going to win at least 11 games this year. They might win 12. X-Men with the $5 donation. I appreciate that. Giants build up the team through the draft and do not overpay in free agency. Next year, draft should be defensive players and number one priority extend. I think you mean by that, X-Man, Saquon Barkley. Listen, I've been talking about that now. I made that video like 3 months ago. And, some people called me crazy. I said, what do you mean crazy? The market goes up every year. Do you want to be paying Saquon Barkley top-tier money when he's 30, 31 years old? I'm in complete agreement that if they have $60 million in cap space, they should use 10 of it to extend Saquon Barkley on this year's cap. He's going to cost $10 million next year. Pay him his $19 million a year. Give him his 4 or 5 year extension. Get it out of the way. We know he's getting extended anyway. Get it out of the way while he's still young. I'm completely with you. That's what I would do. The edge rusher is by far this team's biggest need right now. It's not even close. The edge rusher is by far this team's biggest need right now. The new schedule is not official yet. Got him. The new schedule is not official yet. Trade for Gandy Golden. Why? He was just drafted. Nobody's trading Gandy Golden. He just got drafted. No. I mean, I would take him on the team, but they're not trading. They just drafted him. One problem with Josh Allen is his accuracy. He definitely doesn't have great accuracy. I think he threw 58% last year. He's I say it all the time. He's like a poor man's Cam Newton right now. But I think the Bills are going to have a big year. And I think Josh Allen's going to have a good year. Might not have 63, 64% completion. I think he's going to win football games. I do. Blake Martinez will be trash, I know. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't give up on Blake Martinez. The guy didn't even play yet. He had success. I wasn't the biggest fan when they signed him. I'm still not the biggest fan. But I'm definitely not going to say he's trash. The guy has been a durable linebacker. He has the most tackles in football over the last 3 years. He was actually graded good in coverage with Patrick Graham in 2018. Last year, because some guy made a YouTube video, which I watched, and he looked horrible. It was really bad in coverage. He went down the drain. But it was a new scheme. He was used differently. He talked about it. Don't give up on Blake Martinez yet. What do I think Jones's numbers will be? I'm going to tell you what I hope Jones's numbers are. And fantasy people and Jones, the people that want Jones to win the MVP aren't going to be happy. I'm going to tell you this right now, guys. In my opinion, if you want the New York Giants to make the playoffs this year, Daniel Jones should not throw for more than 4,100 yards. Period. If Daniel Jones has to throw for 4,400 or 4,500 yards this year, Giants aren't winning football games. They're just not. So, what do I hope his stats are? 3,900 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, efficient football. Saquon Barkley and the running game, they lead the league in rushing. That's what I hope. I don't want him to throw for 4,500 yards. I don't. Over under Lawrence, 6 sacks. Under. I'll say 4. 3.5, 4. 3.5, 4. I just followed you on Twitter. I appreciate that, Road Dogg. Thank you so much for popping in the stream. Considering the poor history of Belichick's coaching tree, most recently Matt Patricia, are you concerned Judge might be the next failed coach? That's a good question, Kalen Dragon. Am I concerned? What's going on, Still? Thank you for popping in the stream. Am I concerned? No, I'm not. Because I know that it's a poor history. I really am not that concerned. I mean, I could say, look at Flores last year. Flores went to the Miami Dolphins. They were supposed to win 0 games. They won 5. Was one of the best coaches in football when you factor in how well he outkicked the coverage. He learned under Belichick. He did a fine job. So, no, I'm not that concerned with Judge. Judge, to me, has proven that he has a plan. I love the coaching staff he's brought in. He was highly recommended by Belichick, highly recommended by Saban. I think he's a really smart guy. He thinks everything through. I'm not concerned. I'm really not. I'm not concerned with Judge. I'm not saying it's a slam dunk. The guy's never been a head coach before. But I think he has the potential to be a very good head coach, and I think he has the potential to get the New York Giants to where they need to be. I also completely agree with his philosophy. He's lockstep with Dave Gettleman. He believes in the trenches. He's an old-school football mind. I like Joe Judge. I'm a big fan of Joe Judge. Brandon with the random question. What's my toe size? I've never measured that. O'Shane should be starting over Lorenzo. I think both of them are going to get good quality snaps. I think they're going to be used in a variety of ways. The thing with this defense, and I said it, I think it was in my Xavier McKinney video. The thing with this defense, guys, you can't look at it as a set position for any player. It's a positionless defense. They're going to have looks where Lorenzo Carter's up at the line of scrimmage. They're going to have looks probably where Lorenzo Carter's playing the middle linebacker. Obviously, he's going to be a lot on the edge. They're going to move these guys around. But I think O'Shane Ximines and Lorenzo Carter are both going to get a lot of time. Definitely. I think they're both going to get a lot of time. Do you like Garrett as a play caller? Yes. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? You know, we all laugh at Garrett. We made fun of him when he was the head coach for the Dallas Cowboys. Why would I not want him to be the play? Jason Garrett was a great offensive coordinator. Jason Garrett took an undrafted quarterback, Tony Romo. If Tony Romo could perform in the playoffs, the guy's a Hall of Famer. Jason Garrett called those plays. Dallas Cowboys were routinely in the top 10 in offense pretty much every year while he was calling plays for the Cowboys. I'm not worried about Jason Garrett as an offensive coordinator. I think it was a good hire. And he brings experience to the coaching staff. Not a good head coach like Pat Shurmur. Pat Shurmur's a good coordinator, bad head coach, but I'm not worried about Jason Garrett. I think Jason Garrett's going to do a good job. Chris, do you think this is the best head coach the Giants all-time? No. Oh, Joe Judge? No. No. Tom Coughlin's second best. We all know the Big Tune is number 1. And that's gonna be hard for him to surpass either one of those. Let's see what we got here. We can make fun of Garrett as a head coach, but as a play caller, he's a good play caller. Pumpkin. I say it all the time, man. Just because you're a failed head coach doesn't mean you can't be good in another role. These guys became head coaches because they were successful doing other roles. He was a very good offensive coordinator. Freddie Kitchens was a very good tight ends coach. That's why they got promoted. So why couldn't they be successful in their old roles? I see no reason why they couldn't. What's going on, Donovan? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Jake in the house. Can't believe Belichick is going to come finish his career with the Giants. Yeah, we'll see. That'd be nice. That'd be nice, man. Thoughts on Patrick Graham? Ben McAdoo sucks. Thoughts on Patrick Graham? Again, I think he fits what we're trying to do. I think he's coached with Judge before. You got familiarity. He's about flexibility, but I can't give you a book on him. The guy's only been a defensive coordinator for 1 year. He had no talent on that defense. So when we hired him, that was the message. That's what everybody was saying. All the negative fans, all the papers. Oh, Patrick Graham sucks. He sucks. That's a bad hire. Miami last year, they were 30th in defense. No shit. They had the worst defense in football. They had an XFL roster. So I can't judge him off of results that he got with the Miami Dolphins. I think he fits the mold of this football team. I think he's versatile. I think he's smart. I think he's intelligent. And I think Joe Judge hired him for a reason. So I'm going to give him a chance for sure, and I think he could be a good head coach. Tana, what colors? It is blue, Brandon. It is blue. And Crispy Cracker, thanks so much for love, man. I appreciate it, man. Dollar donation. Thank you so much, man. Parsons 20. We're gonna look more into Parsons. I'll definitely have a video up on him in the coming weeks. Would you consider Judge a third generation Bill Parcells? Well, here's the thing, man. I saw Parcells at the tail end with the Giants. Didn't really get to see him with the Giants. I saw him as a head coach with the Cowboys. I saw him as a head coach with the Jets, with the Patriots. Bill Parcells is a phenomenal head coach. Joe Judge, to me, he's a lot like Belichick. He's a lot like Belichick in the sense that I think his philosophy is a lot like Belichick. He's all about, especially his defensive philosophy. He's tight-lipped. He's militaristic, and I think Belichick has a sense of humor to him as well. He just doesn't show it to the general public. So I think Judge is going to be very similar to Belichick in a lot of ways. The way he handles the media, things like that. But we'll see. But yeah, I mean, he definitely. He learned from Belichick. Belichick learned from Parcells. Chris Leon with the $5 donation. I am from New York, Alex. Chris, I meant to say, who do you think is the best Giants coach of all time? Hint. Oh. Listen, I know you love Tom Coughlin. Tom Coughlin is the second greatest Giant coach in modern football. But no. You can't put the one thing I'll say, when you're gonna argue, there's no argument. But if you're gonna compare the two coaches, the one thing you could say about Coughlin, they both have 2 Super Bowls. Coughlin won with less talent. That's not a debate. It's not a debate. So that's the one argument you could have in your favor if you're arguing Coughlin. But Parcells, you got to go Parcells. Coughlin learned from Parcells. And Levon, man, thank you. So stand up, new member, man. Welcome to the channel, Levon. I appreciate that, man. And what's going on, Lolly? I'm glad to see Lolly's in the stream. How you been, Lolly? Joe Judge is gonna love having guys like Barkley and Jones, and that's for sure. Match made in heaven. I agree. Barkley, you want to talk about versatility? You can use that guy in any way, shape, or form. He's gonna love him. Best running back in football. Matthew with the $2 donation. I appreciate it. Should the New York Giants start Zimenez next season? Yes, Matthew. Yes. You know, but like I said, I'm not going to look at the depth chart. I'm not going to look at the starting lineup. Zimenez is going to get opportunities. He's going to get a lot of opportunities. It's going to be a positionless defense. But yes, to answer your question, Zimenez should have a prominent role with the New York Giants next year, and I think he will. I've been on record of saying, my pick right now, and maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe it'll be Marcus Golden if he comes back. Maybe it'll be Kyler Fackrell. Maybe it'll be Lorenzo Carter. But my pick right now, O'Shane Zimenez leads the team in sacks. I think O'Shane Zimenez is going to have a good year for the Giants. We'll see if I'm right. I could be completely wrong. I was right last year. I said Golden. This year, right now, I'm going with O'Shane Zimenez. I think he's going to have a good year. I think he's a good football player. I'm a big fan of O'Shane Zimenez. Dez Bryant to the Giants, not in a million years. Not in a million trillion years. No, Dez Bryant wasn't coming to the Giants when they had Shermer. There's no way he's coming to the Giants when they have Joe Judge. And, Jacob, man, thank you so much, man, for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. Who would you think we should draft in the first round next year? O-line, edge rusher, wide receiver, linebacker. You see, Jacob, first off, great question, because they're all still needs. But it's impossible for me to answer, Jacob. Now, if you're asking me what's our biggest need, biggest need might not match up with where we're drafting. Because let's say we're picking 10th. And, you know, Rousseau, who's by far and away the best edge rusher in next year's class, by most people's standards, at least right now, that could completely change. Epinesa was ranked in the top 10 at this point last year. The guy went, I think, late second round, if I'm not mistaken. So I would say edge rusher is our biggest need, but that doesn't mean that he's going to be the player that, you know, running back wasn't our biggest need. Quarterback wasn't our biggest need, the 2 prior drafts. So I would say edge rusher is our biggest need. But if there's a slam dunk wide receiver or there's a slam dunk tackle, and we can't pass them up where we're picking, you take the tackle, you take the wide receiver. But yes, I think edge rusher is our biggest need right now, and I don't even think it's close, in my opinion. Levon with the $2 donation, I appreciate it. Who starts at the slot, Love or Holmes? That's going to be a training camp battle, and one I'm looking forward to, and we'll see if Beal has a role as well. That'll definitely be a training camp battle, and much like I've said with a lot of these other questions regarding the starting lineup, things of that nature, I think Darnay Holmes is going to have a role. I think Love's going to have a role. I think they're going to move them around. I think Love's going to play some at the safety position when they move Peppers up to the linebacker. I think Love will play some in the slot. I think Darnay Holmes will play some in the slot. I don't think if I had to pick who's going to get more time at the slot specifically, I would say Darnay Holmes. Darnay Holmes, by most people's standards, has the ability to be the best nickel corner in this year's draft. Seems like a very smart football player, hard worker. He's right up Joe Judge's alley. So if I had to pick who gets more time at the slot specifically, I'd go Darnay Holmes. But I do think Love's going to get opportunities to play. I'm not really worried about that. I know some people are. I'm really not really worried about that. What's up, Chris? What's going on, Chris K? Thanks for popping in the stream. What's going on, Nick Howard? Thanks for popping in. Why did PFF give back who? L. You know what I'll say about that? You know what I'll say about that, L? PFF grades mean nothing to me. They mean nothing. I mean, I shouldn't say that. That's not fair. I think they hold some validity when it comes to certain positions, but at the end of the day, it's a tool. You shouldn't use it as the tool bag. James Bradbury's a good corner. James Bradbury's a very good corner. Is he elite? No. The New York Giants gave him a 3-year deal for $15 million a year based on next year's market. It was a pretty fair contract, and it's only a 3-year deal. He's going to improve that secondary. He's going to bring experience, and the most important thing that Bradbury's going to do, he's going to take pressure off of DeAndre Baker. DeAndre Baker was not ready to be a number one corner this year. He just wasn't. Now, you hope at some point this year he morphs into that, but James Bradbury is a top 15, 20 corner in this league. I don't care what PFF tells me. He's a good cornerback. Simon with the $5 donation. I appreciate it. So apparently I was put in timeout by David Kniezel for the past 2 minutes, even though I wasn't spamming, was just asking about Leonard Williams' prediction. Simon, I will, David's a great subscriber of mine. Maybe did it by accident. I apologize if it happened. I'm sure he didn't do it intentionally. He's one of my best subscribers, so I apologize if that happened, Simon. You didn't have to donate, but I appreciate the donation. Let's see what we got here. Would you have drafted Wills or Thomas at 4 if you were in charge? Be honest. James, you want me to be honest? I cannot tell you because I don't have the intel that these guys have. I watch YouTube film. Here's what I'll say. I was neck and neck. I was neck and neck from what I had read, from what I had heard, Wills and Thomas. I said Wills more because Thomas was never on the radar, according to everybody. So if it was going to be Wills or worse, I wanted Wills. But Thomas and Wills I was very close with. If you go back and look, Thomas was always the consensus number 1 tackle in this year's class, but I would have been very happy with either one of them. Wills was supposed to be the most advanced in terms of technical skill at this point in time. Thomas has already been proven to be a great left tackle. So I would have been happy with either one. I was thrilled when they drafted Andrew Thomas. And here's what I'll say, man. I trust Dave Gettleman. I trust Dave Gettleman when it comes to drafting. And as much as some people may hate Dave Gettleman, you got to give him credit for the way he's drafted. The guy has shown, not just with the Giants, with the Panthers, that he could evaluate talent. So, whichever tackle they chose, I was going to trust Dave Gettleman. I think they chose the right one, and Wills might have been the right one also, but I'm very happy with Andrew Thomas. OJ with the $2 donation, man, I appreciate it. Which undrafted free agent will start? It's a good question. Which undrafted free agent will start? I mean, if I had to guess, probably none. I hope none. You don't want an undrafted free agent starting. But let me think who has the best chance of starting. Not the running back. Not Payne. I honestly don't think any of them are going to start. But if I had to pick, if you include special teams, like we said earlier, maybe Dillon is the kick returner. Maybe one of those wide receivers doesn't start but gets a role coming out of the gate on the outside opposite Slayton, and they play Shepard and Tate in the slot. But I hope none of them. I don't want any of the undrafted free agents to be starting day one. That would be bad. You don't want an undrafted free agent starting day one. Let's see what we got here. Do you think the Giants will win before 2050? Yes, Fabian. Yes, 2050. This is the New York Giants, man. We're going through a tough rut, man. This New York Giants. We're not waiting 30 more years till we win another Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? It's the New York freaking Giants, man. Hey, sorry for joining late, man. Tristan, you never have to apologize, man. What's going on, Mel? Thank you for being here. Corey Coleman will be a factor, I believe, this year. I think Corey Coleman, well, maybe, but I honestly don't think he'll be much of a factor in terms of the receiving game. I think he could, again, he might be the kick returner. He could definitely provide a boost in special teams. We've seen that in the past. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get much of a role. If there's an injury, which we, knock on wood, there isn't. We know there probably is going to be. He might get an opportunity. Hopefully he doesn't. But I think he's definitely behind Shepard, Slayton, and Tate on the depth chart. Might be the fourth wide receiver. And maybe, he gets a little playing time, but I don't think he'll have that much of a role in terms of the receiver if they stay healthy. Stand up. How about sit the frig down? Okay, Maria. Maria's already trolling. So say something about bad dogs. So Maria's about to get kicked out. It is what it is. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but they come in here and they troll all the time. Yeah, Maria's going to get banned from the channel. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Darnay Holmes actually returned the kick for a touchdown and leak. I know he did. I know both of them are known for good special teams. Mac says Williams or Solder, who is likely gone? Solder's gone. After you mean before the year or next year? Before next year, neither one. Both of them are going to be on the team. If you're talking about the following year, who's more likely to be gone? Nate Solder. Nate Solder to me is a near certainty to be gone after this year. He's just not worth $20 million. And when you only have to eat 6 of it, I think they'll cut him, especially with the pick of Matt Parrott, the tackle depth. When you could have a cost-effective tackle on the other side and you can start to develop him, knowing Nate Solder's not a part of your future, he's gone after this year. Nate Solder's going to play this year, though. He's going to be a Giant this year. So will Leonard Williams. They're both going to be Giants this year. That's a good question about Leo Williams. Because when you start talking about Leo Williams, okay, and I'm going to get in my cap space video soon, probably tomorrow I'll probably do that video. Giants don't have near as much cap space as people think. Because they didn't front load the contracts like initially anticipated. They spent $13 million on Ingram and Peppers. I looked it up today on Sport Track. They have $45 million. $60 million if you include the cut or right there with Nate Solder. But then if you bring back Leo Williams, you're at like 42, 43, 44, 45. And then you want to extend Saquon Barkley. You don't got that much. Malik, man, thanks so much for love, man. I appreciate it. $2 donation. He says, should have brought out the grill today. Hope all is well. Nah, man. It was a beautiful day today. Nice weather out there. I actually did sit out on the deck for a couple hours today and yesterday. And I used the grill yesterday, not today. All right, Lamel. See you soon, buddy. At the end of his career, Eli or DJ? I mean, right now, I got to say Eli Manning. How could I project? And I know the new school fans, the young fans are going to say, how could you say Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls? How could I project that Daniel Jones is going to win 2 Super Bowls? How could I project that Daniel Jones is going to be one of the greatest 25 quarterbacks who ever lived? Because that's what Eli Manning is. So right now, I got to say Eli Manning. I've seen 12 games of Daniel Jones. What's up, Chris Porzingis? What's going on, Caleb Dragon? Thanks for popping in. 45, Mike. Yes, that's after they did not backload the contract. They did not front load. I'm going to do a video on it. You'll see. I'm going to do a video on it. What's up, Word? Do you think you are getting big enough where you could do interviews with the players, big or small? Road people have asked me that. And I don't, I reached out to, I think, O'Shane Jimenez on Twitter. I don't want to be that guy that's annoying to people. I don't have an in the New York Giants organization. I could try. I could try to reach out to a guy here and there. I'm not big on Instagram. I'm guessing that's how Fireside Giants gets their guys. I know they're big on the other platforms. I will try to get players on, but hopefully as I get bigger, and that will definitely become a staple. Hopefully at some point, that would be amazing. And Travy with the $2 donation, I appreciate it. How much improved do you think the offense will be? How much more improved? Travy, that's a great question. Because it's a tough answer. Because it's a completely new system. We do not have nearly as much time to prepare for the offense this year. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a normal offseason. So a lot of it's going to have to do with how fast Daniel Jones picks up the playbook. But if the offensive line is improved, like I think a lot of us are going to be, just the simple fact that Saquon Barkley, we hope is healthy, was not healthy pretty much all of last year when Daniel Jones was the quarterback up until the end of the season. And the fact that going in, we've got all our weapons healthy at the wide receiver and tight end position. So if the Giants remain healthy, there's no reason, in my opinion, and maybe I'm being too optimistic, if the Giants don't sustain any major injuries on the offense this year, and the offensive line performs adequately, I'm not even saying above average, adequately, there's no reason to think the New York Giants can't have a top 10 offense. No reason. Now, will they remain healthy? Well, who knows? But I do think they have a lot of they have the ability with a strong offensive line and Saquon Barkley to have a good offense. Saheed with the $2 donation, I appreciate it. How was Colombo as a player? He was an average, run-of-the-mill offensive line. He was nothing spectacular, but is known as a rah-rah guy, a guy that gets in your face, and has been a really good offensive line coach in the limited time that he's had with the Dallas Cowboys. But he was, average. Let's see what we got here. Should the Jets move out of I mean, it would be nice to have our own stadium. Well, I don't know if I said hello to Afghanistan. If I didn't, what's going on in Afghanistan? Who else do you think we're going to sign but big? Like, I don't think we're signing Logan Ryan. I know, I saw that Giants Wire made a article on that. I think PFF said it. That's why I didn't make a video on it. It's not going to happen. I only make videos on things that I think are even reasonably possible. I don't even view that as a possibility because we've got Darnay Holmes at the slot. We've got Love who could play the slot. I don't think we're going to sign Logan Ryan. I don't even see it as a possibility. I could be wrong. I don't even see it as a remote possibility. I think Jadeveon Clowney is a 1-2% chance. I'll give that a very small possibility. But I honestly don't think we're bringing in Logan Ryan. Sarah, thank you so much for the $2 donation. I appreciate it. I'm pumped up for my Colts this year, Chris. Stand up. You should be pumped up for your Colts. The Colts have the best offensive line in football, or one of the best offensive lines in football. They got a new quarterback with Phillip Rivers. And last year, if you had a competent quarterback, you were going to the playoffs. Colts have a good football team. You should be pumped up. That's how you know Tana skips my questions. I don't skip your question. Now, just to prove Word right, I'm going to scroll up and find his question. I don't skip Word's questions. Here we go. From Simon Z. Hey, Chris, what do you think Leonard Williams will do next season? Breakout season or disappointing? Do you think he'll get sacks? I do not think he's going to get more than 4 or 5 sacks. I don't think that's his game. I think Leonard Williams will play well. I think they'll use Leonard Williams both on the inside and the out. He's versatile. I think he fits what Joe Judge and Patrick Graham are looking to do. I think he's a good football player, but sacks isn't really his game. Now, if he gets 6 or 7 sacks, that's great. That's an added bonus, and maybe the Giants will use him in a different way than he's been used in the past, but I think he's going to be used to collapse the pocket and create sacks for other players. That's what he does, and he's very good at it. But I don't expect a lot of sacks. And I'm going to even go back further and see if he asked another question. Hold on. All right, I don't see it now. Oh, wait. Okay, I answered it. All right, here we go. Let me see what we got here. Did you happen to notice the Australian running back we got through the European program? He's the top running back in Europe, but no, yeah, I can't remember how to pronounce his name, James. I did a video on him. I can't remember how to pronounce his name. But the rule is, and I don't know if you're aware of this, and I wasn't aware until I did the video, he's got to remain on the practice squad for his first year. Can't play on the team. He's got to be on the practice squad for his first year. I personally don't think he's ready anyway. The guy has not played with any real competition his entire career. He runs a 4.62 40, which is not the best for a man of his size. But his highlights look impressive, and he's definitely going to be a fan favorite, but he's not going to have an impact this year. And Sticky Fingers, thanks so much for letting me $2 donation. Was DJ really too hurt to play, or was that all for Eli? I know. Okay. I know the conspiracy theories out there. And I know some people said, here's what I'll say. I do not think that they benched Daniel Jones to play Eli. I do not believe that for a second. Not for a second. I don't think that they did that. But what I'll say is this. If the Giants were in contention last year and they could have made the playoffs, maybe, probably, Daniel Jones would have played. But here was the thing. You had a bad offensive line. Daniel Jones hurt his ankle the week before. Why play him? Why risk further injury on your rookie quarterback? It was the right decision. Do I think there was some kind of conspiracy theory that they oversold the injury so Eli Manning could get a farewell tour? No, that's nonsense. I think he was a little banged up. I think maybe they said, we're going to play it safe. This guy's the future of the franchise. We're not going to risk further screwing up this injury. But no, I do not think that they faked the injury so Eli could play. I do not believe in that. I appreciate that word. Thank you very much, man. Can you give a shout out to ARI? There you go, AR. Arizona, I'm assuming you. Let's see what we got here. Anyone want to hear Jalen Hurts joke? Great question. Who did the Eagles pick with the 53rd, the 53rd overall pick? Jalen Hurts. Simon says, Chris, do you think Cam Brown is more of a traditional linebacker? Can he play the pass rush? What's going on, Cal? Thanks for popping in the stream. Cam Brown, from what I read, he needs to put on more weight. If he wants to be a traditional linebacker, he's got to put on at least 10 to 15 more pounds. I think he's 232 pounds, 233 pounds. He's got to be 245. He's got to put on at least 10, 12, 15 pounds. He's a special teams contributor this year. He's not going to have a role on the defense. I'll tell you this. If Cam Brown has a role in the defense this year, Giants are in trouble because it means they have a lot of injuries. He's here for special teams this year, and he's a project. He's a guy that maybe eventually could be a linebacker for the New York Giants, but don't expect it this year. I love the I think we all love the Brandon. It's yellow. If you had to choose the Cowboys or Eagles first game, neither. I don't want to play. I want the first game, the Bengals. I want Joe Burrow in his debut game, no experience. I want to win the first game. I want the Redskins at home. I want the Bengals. That's what I want the first game. I'd like to get off to a nice 1-0 start. Cards making the playoffs, they might. Platzgummer, yeah, that's the name of the running back. Chris, we skipped on a quarterback the year we drafted Jones. No, we didn't skip on a quarterback the year we drafted Jones. We took Jones. Do you think we would have drafted two? I see what you're saying. If we took Josh Allen the year we took Jones, yes. I think we would have went with a quarterback in this draft. I don't think we would have had a choice. Eli Manning's retired. Yes. If we took Josh Allen, Herbert would more than likely be your quarterback right now. I don't think the Giants would have taken two with his injury history. I think they would have went with Herbert. Herbert is kind of similar. Is kind of similar to Daniel Jones. So I think Justin Herbert would have been your quarterback. Josh Allen would have been your pass rusher. Had we taken Allen last year, that's what I think would have happened. And you still would have had a really bad offensive line. Really bad. What number? Brandon, it's 106. You think if we get Rousseau, he will replace Williams and play defensive end? Rousseau's going to be a pass rusher for the New York Giants. That's what he is. And they might not bring back Leonard Williams. There's no way to tell him. But here's the thing. Unless we have the number one pick, you're not going to know if we're going to get Rousseau before you have to make the decision with Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams' free agency comes before the draft, so the Giants won't be able to anticipate that. Herbert isn't very good in my... we won't know. We won't know for a couple of years, Sam. I got to go, man. I hope we go live again. Overtime. You got it, NFL DNA. Thanks for being here, man. Do you want Golden back? I see no reason not to bring Marcus Golden back. For that price? $4 or $5 million? I see no reason for it. If he's going to get $8 or $9 million, I don't want him back. I don't think he fits the defense. But for a situational pass rusher at $4 or $5 million a year, no reason not to bring him back. He could get after the quarterback. So, yeah, for $5 million, I'll bring him back. Predictions for Ingram. Mark, what's going on, Mark? Thanks for popping in the stream. Tana, what team is your the Bills, Brandon? Predictions for Ingram. All right, well, if Ingram stays healthy, which I predict he won't because he never has, but if Ingram stays healthy and plays 16 games, I'll go 875 to 900 yards. I'll go 8 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns. I think he's going to have a good year. He might even have 1,000 yards if he plays a full 16-game slate. This offense heavily features the tight end, so I think Ingram will have a big year for the Giants if he can remain healthy. Hooper's better. Hooper stays healthy. Hooper's better. And Vance, man, congratulations on the shave. John Ross, fifth-year option decline. No, I want nothing to do with him. I saw a lot of people when I made the Corey Davis video comment, and they said, should we sign Ross? Why would we sign John Ross? John Ross has 10 touchdowns through the last 2 years. I see that. The guy's a horrible wide receiver. He's a track star. He's never done anything in the NFL. He was drafted just for his 40 time. We have John Ross. His name's Derek Dillon. That's what John Ross is. I want nothing to do with John Ross. Nothing. Keep him away from here. Ari. Let's see what we got here. Do you think it will be Caden Smith and Risa John if Ingram is hurt? Yes. Well, I don't know about Risa John, but Caden Smith definitely. Toyolo was going to get some time as well if he's hurt. Would you consider the Jets a rival? Would I consider the Jets a rival? I mean, yeah, not really. You know, it's like we barely play each other. We play each other once every 4 years. No, you know, I don't consider the Jets a rival because I don't hate the Jets. I say that all the time. Matter of fact, people ask me who's my second favorite team. I say the Jets. I have no ill will towards the Jets. I know that the Jets fans hate the Giants, or a lot of them do. I have no ill will towards the Jets. I don't see a reason to have it. We barely play each other. We don't play in the same conference. I don't really consider them a rival. I don't. Any moves you wish the Giants would have made in the offseason? I mean, in an ideal world, I would have liked a pass rusher. You know, more of a pass rusher than what we got in an ideal world. Whether it was in free agency or whether it was in the draft. But outside of that, I think that, I mean, if you watch my channel, the New York Giants literally did exactly what I wanted. From the start of free agency to the draft. They did everything I wanted. It was short-term deals, cost-effective contracts, and they focused heavily on the offensive line in the draft. They may not have picked the exact players that I said, but if you watch my channel from the start, it literally was the Giants' offseason plan in terms of the way that they orchestrated the offseason. They didn't spend big in free agency. They didn't sign 5- and 6-year deals. They signed 3-year deals or shorter, which is exactly what I said they should do. And they went ahead, 3 out of the first 5 picks were on the offensive line. So I'm very happy with the Giants' offseason. I give the offseason an A-, or an A. I think they had a near flawless offseason. They may not have gotten the splashy player, but they did what they were supposed to do. I've seen. Am I a season? No, I'm not a season ticket holder. I've seen him ask me. I mean, my name's Chris. A lot of things I would have done differently in free agency, as in I would have gone after different players. That's all. Yeah, I mean, well, what players would you have gone after, James? Because here's what I'll say. What players would you have gone after? Because would you have gone after Yannick? Because I wouldn't have. What players would you have gone after? I would not have signed players to 5-year deals. That was my thing all along. Now, what some people will say is, well, you shouldn't have gotten Blake Martinez. You should have gotten Corey Littleton. Sure, Corey Littleton didn't want to come here. So that's not a suitable answer to me. Corey Littleton's a West Coast guy. It came out after the fact he didn't want to play in New York. So if you could find me a player that you would have rather had that could have came here, that wanted to come here, and I'm not saying you can't. There might be a player here and there. But for the most part, I think the Giants got who they could have got. And they got him on short-term deals. Noah, thank you so much, man, for the $3 donation. I appreciate it. He says, Gettleman has been watching your channel. Maybe he has. Maybe he has. What do you think of the coach? I'm a huge fan of the coaching staff. Huge fan of I love the coaching staff, top to bottom. Love it. What's going on? What's going on, Broccoli Rob? Thanks for popping in the stream. If you guys haven't done so, please hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell. No 5-year deal for Clown. I wouldn't have given any player a 5-year deal. The Giants aren't ready to give out 5-year deals. When the Giants are ready to give out 5-year deals, they'll do it. They're not ready right now. They got to continue to develop their young talent. They weren't ready to make that splash. I was very happy that they didn't. They got to still extend Barkley. I think it's going to be 2022 where they really make a big splash in free agency. Maybe they bring in one or two huge pieces if they have the cap space to try to put Daniel Jones over the top in the last 2 years of his rookie deal. That's my prediction. Maybe they'll bring in one huge guy next year. We'll have to wait and see, but I didn't think this was the offseason to do it. What's going on, Nelson? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. We do have big boy Freddie Kitchens. What's going on, Tyler? Let's see what we got here. I mean, now with Clowney, for that, Malik, I'm not against it. I would not be against Clowney now on a 1-year deal. I don't know if the Giants are going to do it. They don't have a lot of cap space, but yeah, absolutely. You get Clowney for $13 million on a 1-year deal? Sign me up. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. Getty would love your channel. Gotta love the coaching staff for sure. Only question is defense Graham, and no one knows who or what he is yet, but in judgment. Yeah, James, at the end of the day, James, it's a and I know Getty would love my channel because we think alike. I'm not saying that I agree with everything the guy does, but our core principles we think very much alike on how to build a football team in terms of the trenches. But yeah, I mean, the coaching staff as a whole, at least, you know, guys like Joe Judge and Patrick Graham, like you mentioned, they're unknowns. They are unknowns, and we're not going to know. We got to wait really 3 years until they're knowns. You have to give these guys a chance specifically Judge. I suppose you could change defensive coordinators 2 years in if he's not getting it done. But we got to give Judge at least 3 years. Yeah, and he's an unknown, but I like what I've seen so far from him. Yeah, we have Kitchens. He's the tight ends coach. What's going on, Mike Miranda, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. One of my best. I love how people say the Giants didn't go after a pass rusher in the draft when after Chase. Well, yeah, Scarborough. There was no pass rushers to go after. We weren't taking Caleb Chase on at number 4. And maybe you could argue we could have taken a pass rusher at 36, but if you did, you were passing up on the best available player. Xavier McKinney was a first-round talent. He had no business being there at 36. So Giants did the right thing not going with an edge rusher in this year's draft. Now, could they have taken one in the 4th round or something? Yeah, but am I going to kill him for that? No. I mean, they have a bunch of, pretty good edge rushers right now. Mediocre to pretty good edge rushers. I don't think a 4th, 5th round edge rusher is going to make that big of a difference. And I actually like the Coughlin kid that they got in the 7th round. So this was a poor edge rusher draft outside of Chase Young. So that's why they didn't do it. I would have liked Connor McGovern. I would have liked Connor McGovern. Afghanistan, absolutely. If they could have gotten Connor McGovern, I would have been, that was one guy that I thought was a perfect fit. We needed a center. I think he signed for like $9 million a year, $10 million a year. I would have been all aboard for that. What's going on, Ken? Thanks for popping in the stream, my man. One of my best, man. People just love talking shit. They're so Lolly, you know as well as I do, and I'm not saying I'm always right. I'm wrong half the time, just like any other fan. But you know as well as I do that New York fans are not patient. And you also know as well as I do that 35-40% of our fan base, if the Giants start 0-3, are going to be saying to fire Joe Judge. And I'll be on the channel defending him. But you know as well as I do, New York fans are insane. They want immediate results. And that's what's going to happen this year if they get off to a bad start. Oh, Sticky Fingers, man. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. He says, if I got an NFL coaching job and hired my friends as my coordinators, it'd be a clown fiesta. What's the value of familiarity if no one is proven? Well, first off, Sticky Fingers, some of them aren't proven. I mean, a lot of the guys he's brought in are very proven in the roles that they have. Now, Patrick Graham is not proven as a defensive coordinator. I'll give you that. Jason Garrett's proven. Jason Garrett was a very good offensive coordinator. Freddie Kitchens was a very good tight ends coach. Coach Chaos was regarded as the best D-line coach in college football, or one of. They brought in very accomplished head coaches. Burns, look at all the great running backs that came out of Alabama. Burns was a great running back coach. I think they have accomplished coaches on their coaching staff. They kept the coaches that were good here last year. We had a great special teams unit. They kept him. Tolbert did a great job with the wide receivers. He was credited greatly with the progression of Darius Slayton. They kept him. I think we do have some proven coaches on our staff. Joe Judge is unproven, but he was unproven when we hired him, so you can't get on them for the head coach. And Patrick Graham, yeah, he's only got 1 year of experience, but he's worked with Judge, so we have to hope that it works out. Obviously, the reason that Judge and him get along, they're both very intelligent. They both have a very similar philosophy. They want to be very versatile on both sides of the football, so that's why it makes sense. It's the type of coach that he wants. But I get where you're going there. Here's what I'll say, man. We got to wait to see what we have before we can judge these coaches. I'll say that. You can't go crazy. Let's see what we got here. Hey, where do you see us addressing edge next year? I got to look over the free agency class. I'm going to do a video on that and break down how much money we're going to have and how we could potentially use it. We may have to address it in free agency. And there's going to be a good amount out there. If Yannick doesn't get traded, he's going to be a free agent. There's a number of edge rushers that will be available. And the Giants might have to splurge next year because you look at the draft next year. If we're not picking in the top 5, at least as of right now, and things may change, there's not an elite edge rusher prospect in next year's class. So we'll have to wait and see, but they may have to address it in free agency next year. If they're going to spend on one big piece next year, let it be a free agent, not a wide receiver. I made the Juju Smith-Schuster video today because a lot of my subscribers, I do what you guys want me to do. I always say it, it's your channel just as much as it's mine. There is no way in hell, if I'm the general manager, I'm signing Juju Smith-Schuster. But I made that because I know a lot of fans would, and I know a lot of fans wanted me to do it because a lot of fans asked me. We're going to have let's say we have $50 million to spend on free agents next year. I'm giving $20 million to Juju Smith-Schuster, a guy who works in the slot predominantly when we have 2 slot wide receivers, and our biggest need is an edge rusher. I'm going to spend 40% of my available cap space on a wide receiver when it's the deepest wide receiver draft class in forever? You look at some of the names that are on this list next year, everybody's saying it's an incredible draft class. I'm not spending that on Juju Smith-Schuster. If I'm going to spend on a position next year in free agency, it's the edge rusher. Let's see what we got here. This is a Bills channel. Why do you always talk about the Giants? Okay. If we get Yannick, Giants fans will get on him if he doesn't. Well, I wouldn't, JC. I wouldn't. But yes, it's New York, man. You think we could draft the cornerback from LSU? I don't know enough about him, to be completely honest with you. But here's what I will say about the cornerback position. I don't think the Giants are going to be drafting, maybe in 2 years, 3 years. But the next 2 drafts, I don't think they're looking at a corner in the early rounds. I mean, they've invested so much in that position to begin with. Their highest profile free agent this year was a corner. They drafted a first-round corner last year. They spent a 4th-round pick on a corner this year. Beal was a 3rd-round pick. Love was a 4th-round pick. I think they need to spend their early picks on further improving that offensive line, getting edge rushers, getting linebackers, getting wide receivers. I don't think they're going to be spending early picks in the next 2 drafts on the cornerback position. I think they'll spend it on the defense and the wide receiver position and further bolstering that offensive line, whether it's the center, whether it's getting more depth at the tackle position. I don't know what the Jags are going to do with Jan. I think they should trade him, David. I think they'd be crazy not to trade him. But that doesn't mean they're going to. Who do you like from the undrafted wide? I mean, I'm rooting for all of them, Mike. You know, I really am. I'm really rooting for all of them. I hope they all pan out. I know everybody's rooting for Reese and John because he's 6'7". He's from Canada. I think Victor has the best shot. Victor and Dylan. You know, like I said in my 55-man roster video, and that's without me getting to see them play in training camp. But right now, if you ask me, based on the fact that they played actual competition, one played for LSU, the other played for Ohio State. One possesses supreme speed, the other's 6'4" and fits our offense. I would say those 2 wide receivers, if I had to guess, stand the best chance to make the team. I'd rather pay for a receiver than take one in the first round. Most first-round receivers either bust or underperform. I mean, you could argue that. I mean, the Giants paid for Burris. It worked out. But, I mean, here's what I'll say to that, Bronco Rob, and I would have to do a video on this, and I'd have to do a lot of research. But I'd be willing to guess that a lot of the wide receivers that bust or underperform because they go to a situation with an atrocious quarterback or an offense that doesn't fit their skill set. That's just my assumption. But next year, it's a very strong wide receiver draft class. It's not a very strong edge rusher draft class. So conventional wisdom would tell me, and there's supposed to be a lot of good edge rushers in the free agency class. And I'm going to do a video on it. I'm going to do my research and make sure, but there's supposed to be a lot of good edge rushers in the free agency class. It's supposed to be a thin draft in terms of edge rushers in the first round. So conventional wisdom would tell me, okay, very strong wide receiver draft, very strong edge rusher free agency class. I would spend the money on the edge rusher in free agency. Let's see what we got here. Think Lemieux has a shot to be the starting center this year. I think he has an outside shot. He's definitely not the favorite. Spencer Pulley's the favorite. You still have the same one, Brandon. It takes a while to adjust. Do you think Saquon has a career year? I hope not. I hope he has a career year every year. So I hope this is not his best year. But I do think Saquon is going to have a mega year. Yes. I think with the improved offensive line, and he's going to be healthy, he's going to be motivated. He knows he's going to probably get his extension after this year, 3 years into his career. Yes. I think Saquon's going to get fed. I think he's going to get fed often. I think Saquon's going to have at least 2,100 yards from scrimmage. I think he's going to have a big year. Okay, I hate the Cowboys as well, but Dak is better than Carr. Dak's better than Carr. I hate Dak, but Dak's better than Carr. But I love that the Cowboys... Let's talk about that real quick. The Cowboys bring in Andy Dalton. What is that about? What is that about? Why did and I know Cowboys fans and fans that want to root for Dak are going to say, well, he's just a backup. I don't believe that. I think it's leverage. I think they're trying to force Dak Prescott to play on the franchise tag or to sign the long-term extension. That's what I think. And I'll say this. If Dak holds out and Andy Dalton plays, Andy Dalton's going to win football games. And Dak Prescott's going to lose a lot of money. Dak's got to know that. Dak cannot hold out. Cannot hold out. What's up, Mac? I think Andy Dalton's pretty good. Another quarterback that is, very poor O-line. It's crazy how second-year quarterbacks have been the MVP the past 2 years with Mahomes and Lamar and Wentz. Almost one in his second year could possibly mean a repeat this year. Well, you could hope and pray if you're talking about Daniel Jones. Can you mention my name if you pick my question? Do you think there will be a season this year? Fabian Albiar says. Yes, I think there's going to be a season this year. I don't know if it's going to start on time. It might start in October. I don't think there's going to be fans in the crowd. I think you're going to. I think you're going to see empty stadiums, at least to start the season. But yes, I think there's going to be a season. I'd be surprised if there's not. I'd be very surprised if there's not. Let's see what we got here. Where do you think Dak goes if he leaves? The Jags? I don't think he's leaving. I really don't. Kristaps says, Chris, why do you say cheers at the end of your videos? Well, the real reason is when I first started YouTube, I didn't take it nearly as seriously. I always had a beer in all my videos, and I would say cheers with the beer. So it kind of just stuck, and it's just repetitive. So now I kind of just say it in my sleep, but that's the reason why I said it initially. Let's see what we got here. I'm not down on Yannick just because he wants out of Jacksonville. Who wouldn't be a great... I'm not down on Yannick. I just don't want to give the guy a 5-year deal. I'm not down on Yannick. I think he's a good player. Release Solder re-signs Zeitler, and O-line is close to being top 12. We're not releasing Solder this year. Well, next year I think we do release him. I agree with that. Let's go Jets. What's going on? Thank you for popping in the stream. Who will the extra game be against when the 17-game schedule is added? You know what? I'm not 100% on that. I have not. I don't know. I don't know. And my guess would be, the one thing I'll say about the 17-game schedule, the obvious question for me when I first heard about it was, are some teams going to have an extra home game? Are some teams going to have an extra road game, right? Because 9 and 8. The one thing I will say, my guess is with that, is I think there'll be 16 neutral site games throughout the course of the year. That will make up the 17th game for every team. I think you'll have maybe more games in London, more games in Mexico, and it'll equal out to be probably 8 games in Mexico, 8 games in London, and that will make up for the extra game. You'll have a neutral site game for the 17th game. That would be my guess. In terms of the extra team that they play, I have no idea. And maybe that's been announced. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. I have no idea. Chris, say the intro that you do every one of your videos. Every other year you have an extra. Oh, is that Jersey Joey? Is that how it works? I'm surprised. I thought it would have been a neutral game, whether it be in London or Mexico. Like I said, I don't know. If I was the NFL, that's what I would do. That's what I would do. Ooh, what is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. There's the intro. Want to hear a joke? Eagles ready for the punchline? Jalen Hurts. That gets me every time. No with the $5 donation. I appreciate that, man. He says, placed a $250 bet on Danny Dimes for MVP. $25,000 payout. Wish me luck. Noah, I pray that you hit that bet. $25,000 is a lot of money. And if Daniel Jones wins the MVP, it'll be very good for the New York Giants. That means we have a very good year. So I'm hoping you win your $25,000. I'm hoping the Giants make the playoffs. Thank you so much for love, man. Did your schedule come out yet? No. It comes out May 9th. What's going on, Jeffrey? Thanks for popping in the stream. Who would you rather have, Dak or Wentz? Wentz. If I know they're healthy, Wentz. Definitely Wentz. Haskins or Darnold? That's tough to say right now, Irish New York sports fan. Neither right now, but I still like both those quarterbacks, actually. I think they need the right support system. I would lean Darnold on. Mike with the $2 donation says, Judge made everyone on the K show look foolish. Yeah, well, it's not hard to make everyone on the K show look foolish. But yes, Judge is just the man. Judge is the freaking man. But yeah, I watched that interview. It was great. But I would go Darnold. I would go Darnold for sure. What's going on, Sarge? Thanks for popping in the stream. Tana, do you want to play the Cowboys week one? No. What's going on, Sean? Thanks for popping in the stream. I am so sick and tired of playing and every year it's in Dallas. Can we not do that this year? Can we Can we play in Jersey the first time we play the Cowboys? But no, I don't want to play them opening night. Raphael, thank you so much for the man. $2 donation. How did you react at the ending of Super Bowl 49? Super Bowl 49? Well, that's not the Giants' Super Bowl, right? The Giants were, I'm not great with the numbers, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, the Giants were 42-46, right? 42-46. So, what was Super Bowl 49? 42-46, right? Were the two Super Bowls the Giants won? So, 13, 14. That would be the, what was that? The Broncos Panthers? Was that the Seahawks Pats? Seahawks Pats. Oh my God, I was flipping out. I wish I was live streaming that game. Pete Carroll's an idiot. If that's the game, if you didn't make a mistake there, Pete Carroll's an absolute idiot. How do you not run the ball? You're on the 1 yard line, first and goal from the 1 with the best running back in football at the time, the best short yardage runner. Give the ball to him 4 times. He's going to get into the end zone. Pete Carroll, I don't even think it's a debate. That is the worst play call in the history of football. The worst play call in the history of football was that call by Pete Carroll. The worst. Let's see what we got here. New York always has to say, I know. Always, Sabrina. I hate it. Would you rather have Eli in his prime or a healthy Wentz? For me, it's Eli Manning 100%. Right now, you gotta say Eli Manning right now. You've got to say Eli Manning right now. What has Wentz done? I mean, Wentz had a great second year before he got hurt. Wentz got to accomplish a lot more before he's better than Eli Manning. Wentz has never won he hasn't won a playoff. No, he won one, right? He's not Eli Manning. Chris, give me your prediction for week 1. Who are we playing? I have no idea. I'll go Cowboys. It seems like the Cowboys every year. I'll go Cowboys. Tana, who is your favorite defensive player on the Giants? My favorite defensive player on the Giants. Ooh, that's a good question. I really like O'Shane Ximines. Like I said earlier, I'm really rooting for him. I like Peppers. I would go with those two. I'd go with Ximines and Peppers. I really like Dalvin Tomlinson. And I like Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence might be my favorite. I like Dexter Lawrence a lot. It's hard for me to say who's my favorite because they're all so young. They're all so underdeveloped. I've only seen most of them for a year. Dexter Lawrence might be my favorite, though. Let's see what we got here. What did you think about the Knicks keeping Scott Perry? I'm not surprised by that. Familiarity. And he didn't do a horrible job. Do you think Kenny Golladay could we sign him in free agency? If he becomes available, I don't know, I have not heard anything about Kenny Golladay in terms of hitting the open market. If he becomes available, he's going to be very sought after. My guess is no. My guess is with the cap space the Giants would have, being that it's a very rich wide receiver draft class, I would think they'd attack another position in free agency. I could be wrong, though. They could attack wide receiver. Flacco to the Pats, something I haven't thought about, Ezra. Obviously, the Pats have said that they're committed to Stidham. We'll see if they actually are. I believe Belichick, and I believe Belichick in his mind truly believes that he can get a lot out of Stidham. So I honestly don't think the Patriots, I don't know if I said Cowboy, I honestly don't think the Patriots are going to bring in a quarterback, at least of significance. I think Stidham's going to be the starter. Used to be a huge fan of, Alec Ogletree, what a bum he was. But yeah, I was happy when they brought him in, if I'm being honest. Polish sausage or hot dogs at the tail. Oh, you got to go with the Italian sausage, but you got to go with the sausage, Fabian. Let's see what we got here. Eli's character was tested so much in New York, and he proved that he wouldn't be a bitch about it. Same for Jones, baby. Oh, God, yeah. To me, that was the two things that were the most underrated attributes about Eli Manning that New York Giants fans did not appreciate enough. One, durability. You're never going to have another quarterback like that. You're just not. That's just facts. There's only one other quarterback who's had more consecutive starts than Eli Manning, and that's Brett Favre. And Eli Manning, had he been good enough to play, he probably would have broke that record. So durability is the most underrated attribute of Eli Manning. The second most underrated attribute about Eli Manning is how he handled the media. Nobody got spit on more than him. Nobody. Nobody had to deal with more nonsense than Eli Manning. And he took it like a champion. And most quarterbacks, in my opinion, don't handle it nearly as well as Eli Manning did. Not everybody's cut out for New York. Eli Manning was. You didn't flunk out of school. That's awesome, Joda. What's going on, Mohammed? Thanks for popping in the stream. Would you be happy with the Knicks? I would be. Yeah. We need a point guard. Tana, do you think Corey Davis could? No, not a wide receiver one. But I think he'd be a nice piece. I think he fits the scheme, and I think he'd be affordable. Will Jones stop fumbling? He better. He better. Last year, Daniel Jones, and I don't try to be negative on my channel, but I try to tell you the facts. I'm not going to be a cheerleader. Last year, Daniel Jones fumbled the ball 18 times. It was the 5th most fumbles ever in the history of football for a single season for a quarterback. And he only played 12 starts. He better improve that. He don't improve that this year, there's going to be problems. He better improve that. That's not good. Now, some of that definitely has to do with the offensive line, but he has to get much better pocket awareness. Let's see what we got here. Do you think the Giants O-line can handle the Skins front 7? Probably not. Not yet. They got to get. I don't think the Giants' offensive line is a finished product. And even this year's offensive line, I think it's going to take a couple of games to get adjusted. They don't have the normal offseason. They haven't played together. You know, you have a completely new offensive line. I think it's going to take 5-6 weeks to hit their stride until they're fully there. How many of those were? Some of them were definitely because of Solder. Solder sucks. But some of it was definitely because of Daniel Jones as well. I think he's going to get better. I agree, FIFA. What's going on, Whitney? What's up, Chris? Watching the chat. Just stop by before I head to bed. You have a great night, Whitney. Thank you for popping in the stream. Been with me forever. I wouldn't be surprised if the Pats tank this year and draft Lawrence. I don't think the Pats are tanking. I think the Pats are going to surprise people. No one can really question anything about Belichick. The guy's brilliant. We'll see, LeVar. Yeah, I know he was the undrafted quarterback. We'll see. A lot of people like him. A lot of my subscribers have brought him up. I'll probably do a video on him. A lot of my subscribers have brought him up. How do you feel about McKinney's? I like McKinney. I like all everything I've read about all these prospects we brought in. They sound like good locker room guys. When you have Solder, Halapio, and Remmers on the same line, I'm not surprised. Yeah. The O-line was horrible. And the other thing we got to factor in, if we're being fair, and I try to be fair, Daniel Jones is far from perfect. He's got to work on the fumbles. You can make every excuse in the book. He has to work on the fumbles. But he had a very predictable offense. Saquon Barkley was out the entire year, or he was hurt. He was banged up, playing banged up. Didn't have his best weapon. Had a subpar offensive line, and his receivers were out all the time. So he didn't have much help. Let's put it that way. But a lot of those fumbles are on him as well. He's got to get rid of the football. He's got to do better with the pre-snap reads. When do you think Eli will make it to the Hall of Fame? I think it's going to take him 3 years. I don't think he's going to be first ballot. J-Dog says now that's not me saying I don't think he should be. I think he should be. Well, here's what I'll say. First ballot to make it into the Hall of Fame is very hard. So I don't know if he should be, but I think he's a clear Hall of Famer, and I think he'll get in. Tana, what do you think about Lemieux? I'm a big fan, Jesse. I love the pick. He brought depth. He could play the guard. Hopefully he could play the center. It was a forward-thinking pick, and at worst-case scenario, you have a guy that could step in with an injury, that you can move around at least in both guard spots, and he's training to be the center. He's a mean football player. He's got some things to work on, like any fifth-round pick, but a lot of people thought he'd go in the third. I thought Lemieux was great value. I like the pick. Slav, man, thank you so much for the love, man. $2 donation says over-under 10.5 fumbles for DJ in 16 games in 2020. Slav my broccoli, Rob. If I was setting the line, and I don't know if that's a bet in Vegas, that is right around where I would have it. Because he had 18 last year, 12 games. I think he's going to improve it. I'm going to say under. And I'm not trying to be a homer. I think, here's what I'll say about Daniel Jones. This is why I'm going to say under, Slob. With this new offense, regardless of what the offense's philosophy is, I think learning a new offense, I think the New York Giants are going to focus heavily on the ground game, which I think will lead to less fumbles. Last year, Daniel Jones, if I'm not mistaken, had the 8th most passing attempts in football. The Giants ran the ball the 30th most times in the NFL. So that obviously leads to more interceptions or potential interceptions and more potential fumbles. So just the fact that I think they're going to run the ball a lot more than they did the last couple of years, I think it'll lead to less fumbles. I also think Daniel Jones is a very smart quarterback. I think he's going to get better at reading defenses. I think that will lead to less fumbles. I think he'll be able to, shift the line in certain instances. He'll read the blitz better, things of that nature. So I think he'll be better prepared this year. I'll say he fumbles it 8 times. But I think you see a dramatic improvement in that department. Thank you so much, Sofon, with the $5 donation. What's up, Chris? I'm hoping Reese makes it. I think he seems to be the fan favorite right now, man. He really does. He seems to be the fan favorite right now, and I hope he makes the team too. You know, he's a long shot. You know, I think he'll definitely make the practice squad. I think he's a long shot to make the team, but you never know. And Zeke, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I appreciate that $10 donation. With the exception of Moss and Antonio Brown, the Pats never really valued wide receivers. We didn't draft any wide receivers in a rich class. Do you think Judge will bring the same approach of not... Zeke, that's one of the best questions that I've ever been asked during these live streams. That's something I honestly have never thought about. And that's a great point. That's a great point. Bill Belichick, since he's been with the New England Patriots, has not drafted a first-round wide receiver outside of N'Keal Harry, which was last year, since 1996. And that was Terry Glenn. Didn't draft the first-round wide receiver from 1996 to 2019. It's a great point you bring up. And if he agrees with Belichick's philosophy, he may not value the wide receiver in terms of being a first-round talent or spending big in free agency. Now, they did spend big on Moss. They brought in Welker, but Welker was kind of a bargain guy when they brought him in. Wasn't much. AB was a guy that they said, we'll give him a shot. We paid him pennies on the dollar, but they didn't invest a lot of money in him. So if he follows Belichick's philosophy, it's a great point you bring up. He very well may not invest heavy in a wide receiver, whether it be the first round or in free agency. Great point, Zeke. Nemo, man, thank you so much for the $2 donation. I do a lot of these live streams by myself. This is my channel. Bad Dog is not here tonight, but I will be on Bad Dog's channel sometime this week doing the Giant Show, and then he'll be back on this channel. We alternate every week. But thank you for the $2 donation. I appreciate it. Darnell with the $5 donation. I appreciate that, man. He says, I feel like if we win the first 16 games this season, we'll determine if we go to the playoffs or not this year. Yeah, I think if we win the first 16 games, Darnell, I think we'll have a pretty good shot, Darnell, at making the playoffs. I think we'd have about a 100% chance if we win the first 16 games. I think we'd make the playoffs. I'm going out on the limb, Darnell, but I think we'd make the playoffs. What's going on, sports influencer? Man, thanks for popping in. If you guys have not done so, go check out him. He'll have 48 mock drafts up before you know it. One of the hardest workers on YouTube. Do you think Graham showed signs of encouragement with the Dolphins? Mike, to be fair, I don't watch the Dolphins week in and week out, but what I will say, the Dolphins as a whole definitely played a lot better than people thought. Nobody thought they were going to win 5 games. They had no talent on that football team. You know, I'm not going to judge Graham yet. You know, he didn't have enough talent last year to judge him, in my opinion. You know, I'm going to give him a year with the Giants. I think he fits the philosophy of Judge, and we'll see how it plays out. But I think he's a really smart guy. I think he has some experience with the New York Giants, and all we can do is hope it works out. I would say this, if I'm being completely honest. I think of all the coaches on the staff, I think Graham is the biggest question mark. Because most of the other guys have significant experience. Brian Flores is a very good head coach. How good would it be to see Andrew Thomas put Chase Young on his... Oh, God. Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to watch that matchup. Andrew Thomas versus Chase Young twice a year. Sign me up, man. That is definitely going to be a highlighted matchup. And my man, the Card Coach, is in the chat, man. Stand up, Card Coach. Thanks for being here, buddy. We had to lose to get the draft position we needed. Yeah, but you never... I was never rooting to lose, though. David, didn't Chris answer his question? What? Do you think Judge's philosophy is as simple as it sounds in today's league? What do you mean? Are you talking about the versatility aspect? I mean, I think it's always good to have that mentality, to have guys that can do multiple things, to just show different looks. And now, if you're referring to building in the trenches, no, if that's what you mean. You know, I know a lot of people just think that you just go out there, you air out the football, that's how you win football in today's game. Guys, and I don't know if this is what you're referring to, but a lot of people say it's a passing league, and don't get me wrong. Teams throw it in football more than they ever have, but the run will always set up the pass. It will always make you more unpredictable on offense. And the two teams that ran the most in football last year were the 2 number 1 seeds. The Niners ran the ball 51.5% of the time. They were the number 1 seed in the NFC. The Ravens ran the ball 54% of the time. They were the number 1 seed in the AFC. Running the football still wins. And Sticky Fingers, thank you so much, man, for the $5 donation. I appreciate it, man. He says, Fish Vegas holds a gun to your head and ask, who is the most important Giant in 2020? What's your answer? Most important Giants, it's always going to be the quarterback. It's Daniel Jones. It's Daniel Jones. If the Giants are going to take a huge leap this year, it's going to be because of Daniel Jones. But the only way that Daniel Jones is going to be able to take a big leap is if Andrew Thomas blocks effectively, if Saquon Barkley stays healthy, and the pieces around Daniel Jones remain healthy. It's a team sport. It's not just based on the quarterback. But the most important piece is Daniel Jones. But thanks for love. I appreciate it. Is this a make break a year for Lorenzo Carter? He's got to show progression. Yes. Does he need to be elite? No, but he's got to show some progression. Yes. Otherwise, he'll become at best a rotational player. I would guess that. Yes. I appreciate that, Sebastian. Thank you very much. What's going on, Michael? Thanks for popping in the stream. Who's your favorite player on the my favorite player on the offense is Saquon. My favorite player in football is Saquon Barkley. I love Saquon Barkley. He's the whole offense, man. He's what's going to make this offense go. If the Giants are going to have a good year this year, Saquon Barkley is going to be in contention for the MVP. He just is. He is. And Hunter, man, thank you so much, man, for the love. I appreciate that, man. $3 donation. He says, how many sacks is Thomas letting up? Love you, man. I appreciate that, Hunter. Thank you very much, man. That's a great question. I'll say 3. I think he plays well, but I do think the left tackle position is, it's going to be an adjustment into the pros. He's not going to just be an elite tackle right away. I think he's going to have a good rookie year, and I think he's going to get better over the course of time. I think he'll play fairly effectively, but he's going to have his hiccups. He's definitely, to me, he's not near the risk of Eric Flowers. I laugh when people say that. Not even close. To me, the worst case scenario, in my opinion, outside of injuries, knock on wood, it doesn't happen. If Andrew Thomas remains healthy, the worst case scenario for Andrew Thomas is you have an average left tackle for the next 15 years. And having an average left tackle in the NFL is incredibly valuable. If the worst case scenario works out and he's an average left tackle, it's still a very valuable piece to a football team. It is nice to be able to know you have at least an adequate left tackle week in and week out as the blindside protector for your quarterback. We have not had an average left tackle for our quarterback in a decade. So that's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, I think he's going to be an elite tackle. So probably he's going to be in the middle. He's probably going to be very good, if you ask me. But he has the potential to be an all-time great. There's a reason he went number 4 overall. But worst case, I think he'll be an adequate, average left tackle. Chris, what is your opinion on Juju? For me, I do think he's a little overrated. I think Juju's a really good wide receiver. And in the right situation, I'd love him on the New York Giants. To me, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. He's a guy that operates on the inside. Seems like a great kid, hard worker. Be great for the locker room. I don't want to pay a wide receiver $19, $20 million a year when I could draft one in the richest wide receiver draft class in the last decade. I just don't want to do it. I'd rather spend it on the edge rusher. But I think he's a very good wide receiver. What pass rusher did he go for in 2021? Jeremy, I'm going to do a video on that. To be completely honest, I can't even answer that because I don't know who's going to be franchise tagged. I don't know who's going to be signed. I don't know who you're going to have to trade for. But I'm going to do a video on that, talking about all the edge rusher prospects, all the wide receivers, all the free agents in general that I think the New York Giants could target. I have not looked over the list. I know some of the names, but to be, I have to look over everything before I could really give a good answer for that. I think Shaq Barrett was franchised, if I'm not mistaken, so he could be available. Yannick, if he doesn't get traded, could be available. There's a number of guys. Obviously, we've heard about Bosa and Ingram. They could be available. We don't know who's going to be available, but somebody will be. And the Giants might have to bite the bullet and sign one. Chris, did you see the I did not. What is that on, JX? What's that on? Is that on, like, ESPN or something? Chris, who starts at center? If I had to guess, Spencer Pulley. He's got the most experience playing the position. The other 2 guys have never played it. I would like to see Lemieux or Gates win the job. But if I had to guess, day 1, Spencer Pulley. Chris used to be ahead. I would love that, Charlie. That'd be amazing. Who would have the best record? Okay. You guys want my Super Bowl pick right now? I don't know why I'm feeling it. First off, I think they're getting slept on. I think people are forgetting them. And you guys know I believe in the trenches. No team has had a better offensive line over the last 3 years. It's his last year as the quarterback for the football team. They have a strong defense. I think they've been robbed of Super Bowls 2 of the last 3 years. I'm taking the New Orleans Saints. All I hear is the Tampa Bay Bucks, NFC South, Tampa Bay Bucks. No, Saints are winning that division. I'm taking the Saints to the Super Bowl. I'm picking the Saints to win this year. Drew Brees goes out like John Elway with a Super Bowl ring. That's my pick this year preseason. New Orleans Saints. Let's see what we got here. Entertain. I think Graham will use Avery McKinney like he used Minka Fitzpatrick. I agree. That's who they compare him to the most. McKinney and Minka Fitzpatrick. Jedi just fell in love with that pick. Last year I went out on a limb and I almost looked like a genius last year. Of course, they failed me. But last year, going into the season, everyone called me a lunatic, an absolute buffoon. And this year, I'm not picking it because I think they had a horrible draft. I picked the Green Bay Packers to win the Super Bowl last year this time. Everybody said they're going to finish last in the division. The Vikings are better. The Bears are better. Everybody had the Bears. I said the Packers are going to win the North. They're going to win the Super Bowl. They almost got to the Super Bowl. They got to the NFC title game, and they got beat by a much better football team. But I loved what the Packers did last year in free agency. Zadarius Smith, you go back and watch my videos, was my favorite guy in free agency. They got him. Adrian Amos was one of my favorite players. They got him. I loved what they did in free agency. This year, I hated what they did in the draft. I don't like the Packers this year. I think the Bears could surprise people and maybe even win that division. Yeah, this year I'm going with the Saints. I'm going with the Saints. Preston Smith was a good pick as well, yes. Me and Jabril Peppers will be the best secondary duo in the league. Xavier McKinney, I don't know about this year. But you might be in the future. Okay, you guys are going to call me crazy again then. Sports expert. There's my surprise pick this year, not to go to the Super Bowl. They're making the playoffs. Chicago Bears. I'm calling it. Call me crazy. Chicago Bears. Minnesota Vikings lost a lot of pieces. Bears still have a stout defense. As much as I don't like Foles, he does fit what Nagy's trying to do. I'm picking the Bears. I'm picking the Bears to make the playoffs. And they might win that division. Don't sleep on the Bears. That's my surprise pick this year. Not picking them to go to the Super Bowl. They might win the North, and I think they're going to the playoffs. You'll see. I got called crazy last year for the Packers. Bears win at least 9 games this year. And with 7 teams making the playoffs, they'll make the playoffs. What's going on, Hijacks? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Any chance we sneak into the 7th wild card seed? Anything's possible. It's football. Is it realistic? No. But anything's possible. Let's see what we got here. Who's our wide receiver 1 next year? Wide receiver 1? I mean, Slayton's my favorite receiver. I think he's my pick to have the most yards. Who will be the 1? I don't know. Will it be Tate, Shepard? I don't know, but I think Slayton has the best year. Is Brady a dark horse for MVP? No. Brady is a smoking trees. Hey, call it. People said I was smoking trees last year. I was pretty close with the Packers. I'm not even saying the Bears are going to the Super Bowl. Bears are going to make the playoffs. They might finish at 9-7 and make the playoffs. Bears are going to make the playoffs. That's my pick. Brady to me is not even in contention for the MVP. Do you think the Giants might draft Jamar Chase? Yeah, if they pick a top 5, I hope they don't draft Jamar Chase. That's what I said at the beginning of the stream because that means they had another 4 or 5 win season. I don't want Jamar Chase. If we get Jamar Chase, that means we won 5 games. I don't want him. I want to have, some people, here's what I'll say about this, and I was thinking about this the other day. Some people will say, well, we're not going to win a Super Bowl anyway. You're better off winning 4 games and getting Jamar Chase. 5 games. First off, eventually you got to get over the hump. Even if you don't make the playoffs, you have to start showing progression. You have to win 7-8 games. But even putting that aside, the other thing I'm going to say is this. When you factor in the salary cap, guys, what happens when you're constantly picking in the top 4 of an NFL draft? You are paying those rookies a very high contract. That's the negative to picking at the top of the draft. So when you're paying Saquon Barkley $10 million a year in his 3rd year, it's because you picked him 2nd overall. When you're paying Daniel Jones $10 million a year in his 3rd or 4th year, it's because you drafted him 6th overall. This year, we drafted 4th overall. We're going to be paying Andrew Thomas $12 million a year, year 3. If we pick top 3 or 4 again, you're going to be paying another rookie $12, $15 million. So you're not even going to get the benefit of the rookie contract because you're always picking in the top 5 of the draft. That's a negative. We can't keep picking in the top 5 of the draft. We got to start winning football games. And Rudy, man, thanks so much for love, man. I appreciate it, man. $2 donation says, Giants 9-7 and sneak into the playoffs due to expansion. From your lips to God's ears. I appreciate that. I appreciate the love, man. And 8-8 might get you in with the expansion. And I hope you're right. You know, I'm going to go, like I've said all along, I'm going to be conservative. I don't want to set false hopes and expectations, but it's football. And a 5-win team could be a 9-win team with a couple of bounces. A 6-win team could be a 10-win team with a couple of bounces. We got to start winning games. We got to start winning games or trading down. Exactly, David. Trade down. Trade down. What's going on, Yankee King? Thanks for popping in the stream. What's going on, Law? I'm hoping for us to be... I hope we pick 32. I hope we pick 32 every year. Quentin Nelson hasn't given up a sack and a quarterback pressure so far in his NFL career. Can we put him in the hole yet? Clocks loves Quentin Nelson, and I don't blame him. Quentin Nelson's a hell of a football player. I was not even aware of that stat. If that is accurate, which I'm not, you're probably right, Clocks. I was not aware of the stat. If he has not surrendered a quarterback pressure in his first, 2 years, right? No, 3 years, right? No, 2 years. If he has not surrendered a quarterback pressure in his first 2 years in the NFL, I mean, you can't put him in the Hall of Fame. It's 2 years, but let's put it this way. He's definitely headed in the right direction. Quentin Nelson's the best guard in football. He's a great football player. Subo, man, thank you so much, Philip, man. I appreciate it, man. 279, he says, hope everyone is having a good night. I hope everybody's staying safe, man. Hope everybody's staying safe. I hope everybody's having a great night, man. Thank you for the love. Thank you to everybody for being here, by the way. You know, I try to say it as much as I can. First off, I hope everybody's staying safe. But thank you to all the love you guys always show on my channel. You guys continue to watch my videos. You continue to show so much support on my channel. We talk football. We have a good time. And that's what this channel is about. So I appreciate everybody for being here. You should get Ed Oliver on the channel. A lot of people have told me about Ed. I mean, I know Ed Oliver. I will get him on the channel. I'll reach out to him. We'll talk a little football. I'll get Ed Oliver on the channel. And let's see what we got here. Love you, man. I appreciate that, Will Monroe, man. Thank you for being here. You need a co-star. I mean, I have co-stars on the channel from time to time, and I go solo. I like to talk to my subscribers as well. When I have a co-star, can't talk to you guys as much, so I mix it up. What's going on, Noah? Thanks for popping in the stream. Will the Giants beat the Jets? They don't play each other. So, no, they won't beat them. Met preseason, but who cares? Chris, did you see the video of Haskins calling out his offensive line, kept repeating, what can I do to help? Yes. Yes, I did. He would never... You're right. I think that's a major reason why the Giants didn't even entertain drafting him, is because they didn't think he was built for New York. I think you're right. Saquon will lead the... I think he'll lead the league in scrimmage yards. What can I do to best help the team? Xavier McKinney says. Just stay on the field. Be versatile. And get after the quarterback. And be good in coverage. Take away that tight end. Take away that slot wide receiver if you can. That's what we want you for, you know? The occasional blitz and help us out in coverage. Up the seam. Xavier McKinney is a better version of Landon Collins. Tackle, just as good in coverage skills. I think he's better in coverage skills. Raekwon. Landon Collins sucked in coverage. Chris, thank you for replying. I told you earlier that I don't comment that much because other people usually don't reply, so thank you. Of course, World Star. I try to reply. I try to reply. You know, obviously I can't reply to every comment, but because I make so many videos every day, but I try to reply to as many people as I can, and I read every comment. Leroy, thank you so much for love, man. Great odds on betting Giants make the playoffs. I don't know the odds, Leroy. If I had to guess, the Giant... All right, here's what... I know the Giants over-under, last I heard, was 5.5. Maybe that changed after the draft. Maybe they're 6. My percentage on the Giants making the playoffs, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, 25%. 20 to 25%. 20 to 25%. That's just me being honest. But there's a chance. There's always a chance. Jazzy, man, what's going on, my man? Thank you so much for love, man. I appreciate it. $3 donation. Hope all is well. Much love and who day. Jazzy TV, man. Thanks so much for love. He's got a channel over there as well. He's a Bengals YouTuber, and He's got to be happy. He's got Joe Burrow as future quarterback. And I'm curious, Jazzy TV, what you think about Andy Dalton going to the Cowboys. But, man, thanks for the love, man. Hope you're staying safe over there. And Rudy T, man, thanks for the love, man. $2 donation. He says, expectations from Judge, what makes him a success? Expectations from Judge, what makes him a success? Okay, my expectations from Judge, do you mean for the totality of his time here or just this year? My expectations from Judge this year, and what makes him a success this year, I'm not even looking at wins with Joe Judge this year. I'm looking at the things that Pat Shurmur was bad at. And what was Pat Shurmur bad at, Rudy? What was the thing that we complained about week in and week out? His play calling. His inability, he got away from the run too often. His misusage of the timeouts late in games. There was 3 or 4 games last year where that guy burned all 3 timeouts before the 3-minute mark. That is what I think Joe Judge is going to bring day one to the New York Giants. This is a guy that is a special teams coordinator. This guy, from everything you read about the guy, he checks off, crosses every T, dots every I. The guy is very meticulous. The guy has everything planned out from who he wanted to bring in the coaching staff, who he wanted to bring in free agency, who he wanted to draft. So that alone, I think, will be a major improvement day one for the New York Giants from the head coach. I think he's going to come in with a game plan. I think he's not going to get away from that game plan. And I think he's going to be much better at late game decision making when it comes to the usage of timeouts, things like that. And that, to me, is a relative success for his first year. Improvements in terms of coaching. I'm not going to put a win total on how I'm going to measure Judge year one. In terms of long-term success, he's got to win a Super Bowl. He's got to win a Super Bowl. It's New York, baby. But thanks for the love, man. I appreciate it. Was Betcher picked up by any? I don't think so. No, I'm pretty sure he was not. Shurmur was. I don't think Betcher was. Let's be honest, Tana would be a better head coach than Pat Shurmur. I don't know about that. I still try to show respect to Pat Shurmur. I try to show respect to everybody in football. Pat Shurmur's a smart man, just not a good head coach. He's a smart man. He knows football, not a good head coach. I want to see progression, unlike what... Yeah, Sabrina, I want to see progression. When I have an Eagles and Cowboys fans telling me that the Giants are the dark horse in the NFC and could even surprise most people. Taco, man, you never know. You never know. They could. How did you become a Giants fan? I mean, my dad was a Giants fan. I didn't really get big into the Giants till about 12 years old, 11, 12 years old. I fell in love with Tiki Barber. I named my dog after Tiki. And then I fell in love with Eli Manning. Eli Manning made me a diehard Giants fan when I was like, how old was I when he was drafted? I was like 17. He made me a diehard. I mean, I was a Giants fan before Eli, but I absolutely fell in love with the Giants once Eli Manning became the quarterback. Let's see what we got here. Big Daddy was born a Giant. There you go. How do you tag people's names? You just put @ Michael. You put the @ symbol, and then you type the person's name in the chat. How would a Giants-Buccaneers NFC Championship be? I don't care who we play in the NFC Championship. I know what you're saying, Brady versus the Giants, but I don't care who we play. If we're in the NFC Championship, that would be the greatest feeling in the world. Because that would mean we had a really good season. So, I don't care who we play. You're a real one, bro. I appreciate that, Subban, man. Thank you very much. Chris, can you say the Bears? We have potential to have an elite secondary sooner. I agree, Lone Man. I think I would say 2021. We have the potential to have a upper echelon secondary. The potential. We don't know if we'll get there, but we have the potential. Saheed, man, thanks so much for that, man. $2 donation. He says, favorite Giants defensive player growing up? For me, JPP. Yeah, I mean, I like I said, 96-ish, 97 was when I really started watching the Giants, religiously. And then, I remember the 2000 Super Bowl team. 04, I fell in love with Eli. But I started watching the Giants, 96, 97. My favorite defensive player growing up, Michael Strahan. I love Michael Strahan. Loved him. But Justin Tuck, a close second. I absolutely love Justin Tuck. I absolutely, Antonio Pierce. Loved him. But yeah, I would say Strahan 1, Tuck 2. Strahan 1, Tuck 2. Thanks for that, man. I appreciate it. Oh, man, thank you so much, man, for becoming a member. Will Monroe, stand up, new member. Welcome to the channel, man. I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you very much, man. Seahorn, man. Michael, I love Seahorn. Seahorn to this day, still one of my favorite plays ever. by any defensive player in New York Giants history. When he tapped up the ball, he came up with the interception in the playoff game. I love Seahorn. Seahorn's in my top 5 or 6 defensive players in Giants history, for sure. I'm a run right through the hose, Xavier. Oh, there we go. Jazzy TV says, I'm glad Andy Dalton is coming home. I saw him play in high school and in college. Wish him success and think it's cool he's back in our home state of Texas. I didn't know you were from Texas, Jazzy. I knew you were a Bengals fan. I didn't know you were from Texas. Yeah, I mean, he seems like a good guy. He actually played pretty well for you guys, for the first half of his career when you guys had a team to surround him with. What about O.C. Umenyiora? O.C. Umenyiora was great, too. I was not as big a fan of O.C. Umenyiora as I was Tuck. One, I think Tuck was, first off, a better football player all around. O.C. was a better pass rusher. But I think Tuck was the better all-around player. I think Tuck was a leader more so than O.C. Umenyiora. The one thing I didn't like about O.C., and I love O.C., okay? O.C., since I've been watching the New York Giants, I didn't get to see Lawrence Taylor in his prime. I saw him at the very tail end. Since I've been watching the New York Giants, in my opinion, nobody on the New York Giants was better at stripping the quarterback and causing a fumble than O.C. Umenyiora. He was the best at that. I'll give him that right now. He was a great pure pass rusher. But the one thing I didn't like about O.C., it was a little bit of a me-first guy. I think he held out twice for contracts. In the end, he always played. But Tuck, to me, was the better. I like Tuck more. Yeah, Justin Tuck was a fan favorite. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, but Michael knows. Yeah, he stripped the quarterback. Odds we make the playoffs. I'll say 5-1. 5-1 we make the playoffs. 4.5 to 1, 5 to 1. Chris, do you think that the Giants pick the O tackle? They'd have to be picking top 3, top 5 at the latest to get him. By all accounts, he's a generational tackle, and I hope we're not picking there. So I hope we don't get him. It's Superdad says, did the stream crash? Not that I know of. Superdad. Seems like people are still in here. X-Men says, hey Chris, Cowboys or Philly? I gotta go. Listen, I hate both of them. Okay, I hate both of them. I gotta go with the Eagles. I hated the Cowboys more as a kid. I gotta go Eagles, man. The Eagles, my worst memories as a sports fan, not just football fan, are the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate that team. I despise that team. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, it's not even close. I hate the Cowboys, but the Eagles are far and away my most hated team. Not even close. Let's see what we got here. Remember when Brandon Jacobs threw the football at the wall? Yes, I do. Charlie's. I'll say this. I'll say this about the Eagle fans. At least from my experience on YouTube. And I'm not trying to suck up to my subscribers. It's just the God's honest truth. I don't think they're that bad of a fan base. Now, they definitely have a very bad reputation. They're very passionate. They're like the New York Giants. My honest opinion with the Philadelphia Eagles. And before I was on YouTube, I probably wouldn't have had this thought process. I respect their fans more than Cowboy fans. I think Cowboys fans are the biggest front runners in football, in sports, period. I think Eagles fans are diehards. I think they're incredibly passionate. Now, when they win Super Bowls, they eat horse shit, but I do think they're a very passionate fan base. So he says, remember JPP blocking that? Yes. One of the main reasons we went to the playoffs that year and won the Super Bowl. Chris, any potential trade targets or no? I don't think we're making any trades. I mean, Yannick, I suppose, would be the one guy because you could do a tag because they're looking to move him, and we could use an edge rusher. If we were going to trade for one guy, I suppose he could be the guy, but I don't think so. Simon says, Chris, I'm sorry. It's just, I'm being honest. I listen. There's definitely a lot of horrible Eagles fans. Don't get me wrong. Roldy, man, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well, man. Have a good night, Irish New Yorks, man. Thanks for being in the stream. Roldy with the $5 donation. What up, Chris? Have you been watching the Jordan series, The Last Dance? If so, what do you think so far? Believe it or not, I loved Sam Garnes. Roldy, I'm the type of guy, I've seen bits and pieces of it, but Roldy, I'm the type of guy that I like to binge watch. So I'm kind of like waiting till it's like up to like I think it's gonna be 10 episodes, and they show 2 each time if I'm not mistaken, and they're headed till episode 5 tonight, right? Tonight's Sunday, so I'm probably gonna wait until the conclusion of episode 8 and then catch up on the entire series that week and watch it. I've seen bits and pieces. I saw like 15 minutes of the first segment, and I saw like 15 minutes of the second with Dennis Rodman. But I was kind of like, you know what? I want to watch this all together. That's just the type of guy I am. When I watch Netflix shows, that's what I like to do. That's what I've been doing during this whole pandemic. I've been binge watching TV shows. So I'm kind of waiting. I don't like to have to wait every week. I'm going to wait until the conclusion of the 8th episode, and then I'm going to watch all 8 and then watch the final episode the last week. But from what I've seen and what I've heard, it's a fantastic series. And I'm looking forward to watching all of it. But thanks for the love, man. I appreciate it, man. Oh, Andrew Marchese, man. Been on my channel forever. Great subscriber of mine. Always comments on my videos. And I think I pronounced that right. I remember when you corrected me. I think I pronounced that right. Stand up, new member. Welcome to the channel, Andrew Marchese, man. I appreciate the love, man. Great Giants fan. Great supporter of the channel. And thank you very much, man. All right, I'm out later, bro. Stiltman, not Slitman. Stiltman, you have a great night, buddy. All-American was great, Goquan. Absolutely loved All-American. That was one of the shows I've been to watch. Who has the best defense in the NFC East? Huh. You know what? You might not agree. You know, I got to wait to see how it all plays out. But you know who I'm actually leaning with that has the best defense? Definitely not the best team. Call me crazy. Washington Redskins might have the best defense. Might. Don't count them out. Don't sleep on the Washington Redskins. Everybody forgets 2 years ago, Washington Redskins were 6-2 before Alex Smith went down. I don't believe in their quarterback this year. I think he's in a world of hurt. Ron Rivera, defensive-minded head coach. They bring in Chase Young. They had some talent on the defensive end to begin with. The Redskins might have the best defense in this division. I'm being serious. I'm being serious. Don't sleep on the Washington Redskins defense. Their offense sucks. I'm not saying they're the best team. You're asking specific defense. It might be the Washington Redskins. Chris, realistically, what's your early prediction on our starting offensive lineman from left to right? I think. All right, the starting offense left to right. You mean individual players, Simon? I mean, right now, I think we have at least an average offensive line. That's my expectations going in. Andrew Thomas, I think, will struggle a bit in the beginning. He's a rookie. He's a left tackle. But I think he'll be, at worst, an average tackle this year for the New York Giants for the entirety of the season. You know, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, guys. If I say the Washington Redskins about anything, people are going to call me crazy. But if you look at it objectively, the Washington Redskins have a pretty good defense, and they have a great defensive mind as the head coach. Their offense sucks. I think the Redskins are going to finish 4th in the division. But if you're asking for my honest opinion, the Redskins might have the best defense in the division. But in terms of the rest of the offensive line, I mean, I trust Zeitler. I think Zeitler is a solid guard. He's definitely an above-average guard. Hernandez is a huge X factor for this offensive line this year. He has to get a lot better. Solder, if he's average, it's a home run. That's what I want from him. Give me average tackle play this year. The center position, I have no idea what we're getting. I'm nervous about the center position. That's my breakdown. I think Zeitler will give you what he gives you. I think he's a solid football player, very good guard. I think Andrew Thomas will be at least average to slightly above average in his rookie year. Solder, I hope he could be average. And I think he could be. Yeah. And Hernandez is an X factor for the O-line. Roldy, thank you so much for the love, man. I appreciate it. $10 donation. He says, also, once this pandemic is over, I hope we can chill, watch a Giants game. I mean, we both live on Long Island, Bay Shore, Middle Island. Stand up. Roldy, that is something I definitely want to do. You know, not just with you individually, but with, you know, a lot of my subscribers. I want to organize that this year for sure. I mean, I don't know if we're going to be able to do it this year with everything that's going on, even if they play the games, but once things are normal, one thing I definitely want to do on the channel is organize get-togethers, not just at the games, but at bars. Watch the games together, have a, you know, whatever, you know, with subscribers. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I've talked to Fireside Giants about that, and we're planning that for the future. Getting our subscribers together, having events like going to a bar, watching a game, stuff like that. So that's definitely something that I plan to do in the future for sure, Rolly. But thanks for the love, man. I appreciate it. Thanks, Chris. Sorry for the tough-ass question. No, not a tough question at all, Simon, man. If Montez Sweat's comeback improved and Chase Young continues playing like he did in college, then that front line is a bit scary. Redskins have a decent defense. I'm telling you. I don't think any defense is great in this division. Most people would say the Eagles, probably. But I think the Redskins could have the best defense. Let's see what we got here. Greatest sports rivalry. Yeah, it's Yankees. I'm a Met fan, and I even say it's Yankees-Red Sox. Yankees-Red Sox hate each other. Do you think it's likely that the Giants target Juju? No. I don't. I really don't. I mean, it's possible. That's why I made the video. I don't make videos if I think it's impossible. I think it's possible. I think the Giants possibly could view that as a desperate need. Maybe they feel like they're going to be picking at a spot in the draft where they don't think they could get a supreme wide receiver. Maybe they think the class is overrated and Juju's on the market, and maybe they take him. But realistically speaking, like I explained in the video, Juju Smith-Schuster, to me, while he is definitely capable of playing on the outside, does a lot of his damage over the middle. You have two wide receivers on this team already that are pretty good in the middle, over the middle. They need a guy on the outside. And I don't think Juju is worth a $20 million contract. I just don't. So, do I think he's an option? Yes. Do I think maybe they'll entertain it? Possibly. Do I think it'll happen? No. What's going on, Yuri, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Hey, Chris, sorry I'm late. It's my birthday. Happy birthday, Sam. You never have to apologize. You always apologize. You never have to apologize. You're the man, Sam. Thanks for being here. Do I miss Odell? No. I get asked that all the time, Sebastian. I don't miss Odell. No. And I know a lot of Giants fans do. And I know I tell you the truth. I don't bullshit on this channel. I don't miss Odell. I think it was the right decision. I don't think Gettleman gets enough credit for making that trade. I honestly think it was the right move. And I think maybe 3 or 4 GMs in the NFL would have had the balls to make the trade. Gettleman took all the heat and made the right move. For all the people that hate Gettleman, I think he deserves credit for that trade. And people that love Odell are always going to say that was a bad trade. And we're allowed to disagree and have our own opinions. I think it was the right move, and he made it at the perfect time. What's going on, Frosty Clops? Thanks for popping in the stream. Sports Tech, I'm a Browns fan and OBJ. Yeah. Wideouts are overpaid. There were 10 wideouts this year, better than Watkins or Cooks who are making. Yeah, they are. Yeah, we won the trade. Let's see what we got here. I love Odell, but probably right move in hindsight. Yeah, it was. It was a great trade, but I definitely miss him. I mean, I get it, man. He was definitely a fan favorite. He was a great talent. I miss OBJ a lot. He was the best wide receiver in Giants history. Not named Amani Toomer. Yeah, Amani Toomer. Yeah, Amani Toomer's the best Giants wide receiver in history. But yeah, OBJ is definitely in the top 3 or 4 for sure. It might be second. Yeah. Do you place OBJ in your all-time Giant receiving core? Yes, probably. It's close, because Delano. To me, it depends on how you evaluate. Okay, here's what I'll say, and people ask me this all the time. When I think New York Giants, I can't debate. Odell Beckham was a better talent than any wide receiver I've ever seen put on a New York Giants uniform. Odell Beckham was better for a longer period of time than the guy that I'm going to mention. But when I think New York Giant, and I've been watching the team longer than some people that watch my channel, I think Victor Cruz long before I think Odell Beckham. I think Plaxico Burress long before I think Odell Beckham. I think Hakeem Nicks long before I think Odell Beckham. Now, Odell Beckham was better than all those players. But if you're asking me, like, when somebody says New York Giant, who comes to my head first? Plaxico Burress or Odell Beckham or Victor Cruz or Odell Beckham? It's the guys who have won championships. It's the guys who had winning seasons. It's the guys I have good experiences with. As great as Odell Beckham was, as many great plays as he had, we had one winning season with him here. We didn't win football games. Victor Cruz was a leader, yes. Ron Rivera versus Bill Belichick. Who's the defense? Gotta go with Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's the greatest coach of all time. Hey, Tana, do you think Saquon could be the best? Yes. I think he will be. I think Saquon will be the best running back this year. I would take him first overall in fantasy. Who in our 2020 draft class should be the Darius Slayton of last year? Well, we didn't draft a wide receiver. Oh, you just mean in general? Well, if you're talking late round draft picks, it's kind of hard because Lemieux is not going to play. Probably not unless he wins the center job. I guess Darnay maybe. But do I think he'll have the impact? I don't know. I don't know. They kind of drafted more for the future this year, in my opinion, than for the immediate, the present. So I don't know if you're going to have a guy, not to say they didn't draft well in the later rounds, but I don't know if you're going to, I don't think you're going to have an impact player, in the later rounds, as big of an impact as you had last year with Slayton. David, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I appreciate that. $5 donation. What undrafted free agent would you bet on making this team in training camp? Chances Marcus Golden is a Giant this year. David, okay, I'll start with the Golden. I think it's 50-50. And if you would have asked me that before they signed this, I would have said 10%, but I think it's at least 50-50 Marcus Golden's going to be a New York Giant. Now, when I did my 55-man roster, I didn't include him, but I easily could have. I just did it based off the assumption that they're not going to have him, worst case scenario, but I think it's 50-50. We get Marcus Golden back with the New York Giants. We'll see, In terms of the wide receiver, yeah, somebody asked me this earlier. Which undrafted which wide receivers just undrafted free agents in general. See, I'd have to have the list. I know that a lot of people like the tackle. I can't remember his name, out of Rhode Island. He could make it as a depth player on the offensive line. I think 2 of the 4 wide receivers will make the team. I think Javon Leak will make the team as a running back. So that's 4 guys right off the bat. I can't remember his name, but the offensive lineman out of Rhode Island, and he's versatile. That's why I think the New York Giants definitely have interest in him. I think he's played 4 positions, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he could definitely make the roster. I think 2 of the 4 wide receivers will probably make it. I think Javon Leak will make it. That's 4. And maybe one of the edge rushers. I know I can't remember the guy's name. Lalos, I think it is last name. I know some people like him. Obviously, the kid we got from, I can't remember the school. Where'd he go? I can't remember the school, but I did a video on him. I can't remember the school, but he's got that weird name. I can't remember his name. He had 9.5 sacks, though. Maybe he makes it, but I would say 4, maybe 5. 4, maybe 5. What's going on, Lake Nona? Thanks for popping in the stream. Who's my favorite? Lalos. Yeah. My favorite Giant of all time is Eli Manning. No doubt about it. My favorite Giant of all time is Eli Manning. My favorite defensive player of all time, Michael Strahan. I wish we could find another Victor. Victor Cruz is the greatest undrafted free agent in New York Giants history. Yeah, but Batiku. That's what it is. That's what I was talking about, Batiku. Chris, I knew this season hasn't started yet, but look up. I am. I'm going to do a video on him, Sam. I'm going to do a video on. Oh, my God, dude. Roldy, man. Thank you so much, man. Roldy, man, you didn't have to do that, man. Thank you so much, man, for being a phenomenal supporter of the channel. I really appreciate that, man. Wow. I really appreciate that, man. Roldy is one of my, this is how I always describe Roldy. Roldy is one of my biggest critics, yet one of my best supporters. He questions everything I say, but it's because he respects my opinion. He's a great supporter of my channel, man. Thank you so much, man. Let's not say we didn't win anything with OBJ bullshitters. I can easily say we haven't won with Barkley, just not fair, especially for the guy that wanted to win badly. OBJ describes what your boy Gettleman said. I want a player that hates to lose, not fair. That, Rolly, like I said, we're always going to have differences of opinion on certain topics, not just you, but Giants fans in general. I don't, by no means, Roldy, I don't know when I talk about Beckham, and I'll be the first to say, I didn't like Odell Beckham. I'm honest. I didn't like some of the things he did. I liked him as a player. I think he was a tremendous talent. But I would never, in a million years, say that Odell Beckham was not about winning football games. Odell Beckham was always about winning football games. Always. He had passion to win. I will never take that away from him. Do I think he put himself above the team at times? Yes, and that's what I didn't like about him. I didn't like that part about him. I think he was a me guy, but I always thought he was about winning. I think he was a passionate player. He was about winning. I would never say that And that's fair what you say about Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, to be fair, has only been in the league for 2 years, and he came in when the team was abysmal. But I'm not putting the losing on Odell Beckham. That's not what I was saying when I was talking about the great wide receivers. I was not even calling Odell Beckham a losing player. I was just saying when I think Giants, I think of when they won. And Hakeem Nicks won, Victor Cruz won, Plaxico Burress won. That's why that wasn't even meant to knock Odell Beckham. It was more so to praise guys who won championships. But I'll be the first to say, I am not an Odell Beckham fan, but I would never accuse him of being a guy that wasn't passionate and that didn't want to win. I think he was passionate, and I think he always wanted to win. So that's what I'll say about Odell Beckham. But thank you so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. What is that? That was a vacuum cleaner, Con. You ever think jumping on the Wentz wagon down the road to... No, Legendary. No. Hot take, the catch was the worst. I'll tell you what, man. I don't even think that... What's going on, Joe Lutz? I don't even think that's a hot take, Kai. I don't even think that's a hot take. I think that's true. And I even think the biggest Odell Beckham supporter, or at least most Odell Beckham supporters, would tell you that as great of a catch as that was, as great of a moment as that was, as much money as that probably made Odell Beckham in endorsements, it was the worst thing that happened to Odell Beckham. It was the worst thing that happened to Odell Beckham. It made him this immortal, it made him a target, and the media ate it up. So I do think, as crazy as that may sound, as great of a moment as that was, that's his career-defining moment up to this point in time. In a way, it was the worst thing that ever happened to him. Did I play football growing up? Yeah, I played up till about 15. I was more of a baseball player in high school. Would you want OBJ? Wow, Jose Castillo, man, thank you so much for the love, man. $5 donation. What up? I get OBJ being above the team. However, you like Plax and that dude straight up told Coughlin, I do what I want. I don't know if I missed something. Jose Castillo, you're right. But Plaxico Burress won me a Super Bowl. But, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, here's what I'll say. Plaxico Burress cost us a Super Bowl, too. You know? But when I think about Plaxico Burress, obviously I think about when he shot himself in the foot. That cost us a Super Bowl. I also think about, and I say it all the time, first off, Plaxico Burress was so important to the development of Eli Manning's career. And as crazy as this sounds about Plaxico Burress, he was that crush that Eli Manning needed early in his career. He definitely helped Eli Manning early in his career. There were so many jump balls that when Eli was under pressure, he got rid of it, and he threw it up to Plaxico Burress in the corner of the end zone, came down with the ball. But Eli Manning became a better quarterback after Burress left because it forced him to spread the ball around. But, yeah, when I think about Burress, I think about winning a Super Bowl. But, yeah, you're right. He was not he wasn't the greatest teammate, obviously. Wasn't thinking about the team when he brought a gun into a nightclub or whatever it was and shot himself in the foot. What up, Chris? What do you think is going to be our starting O-line? Our starting O-line, I think it's going to be... I don't know who's going to play the left and right tackle right now, but I think Solder and Thomas are both going to start. I think Zeitler and Hernandez, and right now, if I had to guess, Spencer Pulley. He's got the experience at the center position. The other two don't. So if you ask me right now, I would go with that as your starting offensive line. Eli goes out of retirement, joins the Pats, wins another Super Bowl. I would love that. It's not going to happen, but that would be amazing. Were you a hog? No, I was not a hog. I was not a hog. Golden Tate is a good receiver. I was 130 pounds in high school. Golden Tate is a good receiver. He just wasn't used good last year by Shermer. Golden Tate's a good slot receiver. He doesn't create separation, but he's a very good slot receiver. Definitely. But we need help on the outside. Let's see what we got here. Tanner, next year's free agent wide receivers include Kupp, Golladay, Godwin, Hilton, Watkins, and Keenan Allen. Probably not a machine, to be honest. If I'm bringing in the reason I know a lot of people don't get excited about, Corey Davis. I know a lot of people don't get excited about that. But if I'm bringing in a wide receiver in free agency, me personally, I'm going first off for a tall guy on the outside and a guy that's not going to cost me a ton of money. Because I'd rather use that money on a pass rusher in free agency, or I'd rather use that money on a linebacker or another spot. But if I could find a high upside guy at a pretty affordable rate, that's what I'd be looking for in free agency. I would not be looking at the top of the barrel. That's just me. Especially being that this year's wide receivers class is so rich with talent in the draft. Let's see what we got here. Tana, say what you want, but I write down all of the Giants signings so I know their name and where they're from. So yes, I got the list. Jesse, what are you referring to, Jesse? Everybody that they've signed? No, Corey Davis is not a stud. I don't think he's a stud. I think he could fit this Giants system well. I think he could be a solid receiver. I think he'd be a good receiver. I don't think he's a stud. I'll give you that. Hey Chris, how you doing? I'm doing good, Peter, man. Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. Is it hog season again next draft, or do we go after a wide receiver? Jake, you know what I'll say about if it's hog season. To me, depends where we're drafting, and it depends what you feel about Matt Peart. If they believe in Matt Peart, and they'll probably know that internally going into next year. Or if they feel there's just a tackle they can't pass up on where they're drafting, they could still take a tackle. It depends. But if you're asking me what I want, at least right now, I can't answer. I might feel differently in 350 days. But if you ask me right now, I want an edge rusher. That's by far our biggest need, in my opinion. Edge rusher one. Wide receiver's up there now. Wide receiver's up there because you got to help out Daniel Jones. You got to get him a supreme target. Wide receiver would be one of my 2 or 3 biggest needs going into next year. Edge rusher, wide receiver would be up there. Chris, my man, what's up? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing well, Akeem, man. Thanks for popping in the stream. Matt Peart is Mekhi Becton plus. I hope so, Kane. I think he's got a lot of talent. Am I one of your best subscribers? Everybody's one of my best. Everybody in here is great subscribers. I don't like to point out best. Sometimes I say it and it upsets people. I shouldn't. Joe, thanks for the thumbs up. Tano, who do you think has a better chance of beating out Pulley for starting center, Gates or Lemieux? I'd go with Gates. And I'm rooting for Lemieux. Lemieux's probably a guy I'm pulling for. I'd love to see him get the position. But Gates has been in the NFL now for a number of years. His natural position is guard, just like Lemieux. Gates proved to be a pretty solid lineman when given the opportunity in the NFL. Lemieux doesn't have any NFL experience. I think all three have a chance. But I would probably go Pulley 50%, Gates 30%, Lemieux 20%. Opening day. Now that could change by week 4, but opening day. Giants need another Chris. Yeah, the Giants need that whole line all over again. Anyone think if Sterling Shepard sustains another concussion, his career is done? JC, it's close, man. And I hate to say that. I made a video on that last year. The guy had like 8 concussions. I don't know how many. Maybe I could be wrong in the number. But he had a lot of concussions in high school. I think he had more in college, and he's had a ton in the pros. His wife wanted him to retire, or at least she was hinting at it. So if he has 1 or 2 more concussions this year, yeah, and the Giants have to think about that. They have to think about that. And I appreciate that, Danny, man. Thanks for being here, buddy. Chris, do you put... Oh, God. Chris, I put the K word on my hot dog and mustard. Relish as well, sauerkraut. Would you rather have B.J. Hill or Corey Ballantyne? B.J. Hill. I think B.J. Hill is more of an upside. It's still early. When is the stream ending? It's going to end soon. Probably in about 15 minutes because, it's a work night. People got to go to work tomorrow, so probably around, normally I do it on Saturday. I know Bad Dog was doing Saturday last night, so I didn't want to get in the way with that. So I did it tonight. Normally I'll be doing these Saturday. I'm going to try to do it twice a week. Once on like Tuesdays, once on Saturdays. And then the Giants show, just to talk to you guys, talk sports. And maybe I'll have a guest. Maybe I'll start doing that, guys. You know what, guys? That's what we're going to start doing. What do you guys think of that idea? This is what we're going to do. I'm going to do 2 of these a week. 2 of these a week. And, of course, I'm going to do the one with Bad Dog, the Giant show where we alternate channels. 1 out of the 2 week. Once out of the 2 times I go live, I'm gonna have an alternating guest. And what I'm going to do every week, I'm going to have you guys, I'm going to put it in the community notes. I'm going to have you guys, so you have to check the community notes. I'm going to have you guys pick the guest that you want on the channel. And whoever you guys pick is who I will have, or I'll try to have on. Now, don't say anybody crazy. Like, I'm not going to get EDP. You know, say somebody realistic, and I'll try to have them on once a week. Stinky Fingers, thanks so much for the love, man. Pizza or lasagna? I got to go with pizza. I love both, but I got to go with pizza. All right, yeah, I'll do. I'll try to get a guest on. Like, Flight Reacts is not, Pat McAfee's not realistic. I would love to have Pat McAfee on, but it's got to be somebody that I could get on. I don't think I'm getting Pat McAfee. Jesse, man, you have a great night, man. It's got to be somebody I can get on. Flight Reacts, EDP, I'm not getting them on the channel, but I will reach out to. I would love to have Ron Effect on the channel. But I'll try to have a different. I'd have Cop Pizzle on. I try to have a different guest on every week, and I'll put it in my community notes. Well, I'll put that up. I'll put that up in a couple of days. You know, who do you guys want to be my guest? And I'll reach out to them. I'm just waiting for you to bring back the call. Yeah, I'll probably do that in a month. I'll probably have a call-in show once every 2 weeks in like a month or so. Bangle. Yeah, everybody's saying Bangle. I've never talked to Bangle. But if you guys, I will try to reach out to him. He's probably got a Twitter. I love Bangle. I love his content. I think he's really smart. I always say it. He's got like the perfect radio voice. Really smart kid. Seems like a great kid. I'd love to have Bangle on the channel. If I get Bangle on, let's do it. Yeah. Maybe you guys could reach out to him if you're subscribers of his and you comment on his videos. Yeah, I'd love to have Bangle on. Ed Oliver, I'll definitely reach out to. I'll put it, like I said, I'll put it in the community notes. Xavier McKinney, thoughts on his possible production with Peppers? I love that secondary. And they're both very interchangeable. I think they're both going to be moved around. They're both going to be used in a variety of ways. I think they both fit this defense perfectly. So, what up, man, from Vegas? What's going on, Uni? I'm really excited about the prospects of the New York Giants secondary, the safety position in particular, in the future. Well, I'm not going to have Bad Dog on because I have Bad Dog on. I work with Bad Dog every week, so that doesn't count. You know, I'm talking about people I don't normally have on the channel. I want to have like a new weekly guest. It could be anybody. It could be a guy with 100 subs. It could be a guy with 50,000 subs. But I'll have you guys pick the first couple of weeks, and then we'll take it from there. Strong Opinion Sports. I would love to work with Strong Opinion Sports. He's another guy with a huge, huge following. So, you know, it's up to him. But if he would want to come on, I'd love to work with Strong Opinion Sports. Yeah, I appreciate that stupid video. Yeah, I'm always going to work with Bad Dog. But, I'm trying to get a different flavor on the channel, man. Your starting O-line. Yeah, Rover. Definitely get Rover on the channel, for sure, for one of them. Somebody asked me that earlier, but real quick, starting O-line, the obvious four and Pulley. I mean, I think the tackles are Solder and Thomas, and I think the guards are Hernandez and Zeitler. And I think Pulley will be the starting center. I'd like it if you brought on Ben... I'd love to have Ben McAdoo on. What do I think what do I think the record will be? 6 or 7 wins. I've been consistent with that the whole offseason. I think 6 or 7 wins. I'll definitely have Kid belong. Jesus, I want to get on the string. Jesus, I want to get on the string. You, Strong Opinion Sports, and Mike Too Nice are the most objective and least biased YouTubers. Simon, I appreciate that. That's a huge compliment. One guy that I always wanted to work with was Mike Too Nice. I respect the hell out of his content, always have. And the funniest thing, I think the reason, as crazy as this might sound, I think the reason why I always loved Mike Too Nice's content, one, like you said, I appreciate how objective he is and how hardworking he is. But the main reason why I've always loved Mike Too Nice's content, I disagree with most of it. But I always say that. As a consumer, the thing that I like when I go to a channel is when somebody presents their point of the argument very well, and it's not what I believe. Because then I look at things from a different light. And when it comes to Dave Gettleman, he's his biggest critic in terms of the Giants community. I might be his biggest defender. So I've always wanted to work with Mike Too Nice because I think he's really smart. I think he's really objective. I think he's really hardworking. But I think we think very differently on a lot of things. And yeah, I love Mike. I love going on that podcast. He's a great guy. Hey, Chris. I love the videos. I appreciate that, Landon. Thank you very much, man. You need to get back on your Insta. It was fire back then. Birthday canola. What's going on, Entertainer fan? Yeah, Mike Too Nice. Mike's a great guy. What positional group do you think is weakest on the team? Probably the center. Probably the center. Probably the center. I'm trying to think. Edge rusher. We don't have a great edge rusher in the center. I think he knows a lot, but you have the pulse. I think he knows a lot, but you have the pulse. I think Mike's a great guy. I think that's what I love about. That's what I love about YouTube is. I say that all the time when we talk about. And we're gonna close out in like 5 minutes because, like I said, tonight's a work night. So I didn't want to go too late tonight, but I wanted to make sure I go live. But that's what I think is great about the Giants YouTube community is you can go to Mike's channel and you get a completely different perspective. You go to Bad Dog's channel, you get a different perspective. You go to Kid Blue's channel, you go to OGR's channel. I think everybody carries their own strength. Fish Vegas, I think everybody carries their own strength. And that's what's great about YouTube. You know, you get to pick your flavor, what you like the most. And I like working with everybody. You know, I think it's interesting and good content. And I think the fans and Cop Pizzle's entertaining. I think the fans appreciate it when Giants fans work together. That's why I've always tried to do it. And Sticky Fingers, man, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. He says, how much do I have to donate to get a better webcam? You're better than this. Still love you, though. Sticky Fingers. Okay, as far as the webcam goes, my videos is a better webcam. The reason I use this webcam when I stream, and the only reason, is because when I use the Logitech camera when I stream, it lags. Because I guess it's not connected to the computer. And I guess because it's coming from an outside source, it lags more than the camera from the actual computer. That's why I use it. But one thing I definitely need to invest in this year, once this gets all cleared up, I'm going to buy a desktop. So it's much better for streaming. And I'll be able to use a better camera when I stream. So that's why I have the crummy camera when I stream. Because it's better. I feel like it's better not to lag and me look horrible. if that makes sense. And Jose Castillo with the $2 donation. I appreciate it. He says, good night, bro. Thanks for the stream work tomorrow. Jose, man, you have a great night, man. Thank you for popping in the stream. I appreciate it, man. Predictions, Division, Super Bowl. Well, Kristaps, it's a work night for other people. Predictions, Division, Super Bowl. Yeah, Super Bowl, I said. I got the Saints winning the Super Bowl. And in the NFC East, I'll pick the Eagles. No, I'll pick the Cowboys. I got the Cowboys in the division. But I got the Saints winning. Tina, any interest working with online? No. That's the one guy I don't have interest in. I'm not trying to badmouth anybody. It's the one guy I don't have interest in Afghanistan. But I'm not going to get into that. I'd work with any other Giants YouTuber. Chris, can you work with... I would definitely work with She Got Sports. Chris, I thought you... Chris, I thought you worked another job. Was I do work a part-time job. Yes. We making the plot. Maury, I hope so. Would you include Kid Blue as a third guest on the Tane and Bad? I mean, maybe not every week, but I would definitely have him on at least once a month for sure. Yeah. Dennis, I'm not going to get into that. Is the big wideout really necessary anymore? Teams like San Fran, it's not necessary, but it's definitely something nice to have. And in this offense, I think it's something that you kind of need. You need a vertical threat. What's going on, Lestat? Thanks for popping in the stream, my man. What's up? Giants Alliance, by the way. That's a guy that you need to check out. I had him on the channel. He works for G-Men HQ. Great Giants fan. Really nice guy. Very knowledgeable. Go over there and check him out. He just started the channel. I'm going to have him on the channel probably in a week. We're going to recap the draft maybe in like 4 or 5 days. I'm looking forward to that. So check him out. Yes, Nikki. Just right now, yes, I'm busy. I want to do the subscriber videos. I may stop doing it for a couple of weeks because maybe it was kind of getting redundant where we were talking about the same thing over and over again. I may wait until football's approaching and then start bringing them on again because I don't want it to get stale. But I'm going to do that again definitely when the time calls for it. Because we're just going to talk about the same thing in the offseason. You know, there's only so many times you could talk about it. Half of the hat is, yeah, I know, Mr. Mini Guy. Have I worked with I don't know who Josie. No, I have not, Nelson. Chris, was Tay Davis any good for you guys? He's been a beast. I appreciate that, Christy. Thank you very much. Yeah, he was okay. He was okay. Sports expert. He was not that good. What's going on, Daniil? Thanks for popping in the stream. What happened? All right, you want gossip? There's no gossip. The guy. All right, I'll tell you what it is. The guy comes on to my videos. First off, he used to. He doesn't do it anymore. But the guy would mock me in half his videos. He'd have it all his subscribers. Every time I would go to watch one of his videos, his subscribers would be bashing my channel. You never see that on anybody else's channel. He'd come onto my channel, be critical of my videos. He'd make rebuttal videos without saying my name for half my content. The guy clearly trolled me. And it is what it is. I get it. It's part of being on YouTube, but I don't have interest in working with him. There you go. Gossip over. Wish him nothing but the best. I'm not saying he puts out bad content. I don't have interest in working with him. That's all. Who's going to have the worst record in the league, not named the Jaguars? I think Jaguars are going to have the worst record. But in terms of, I'll go with the Bengals. You know, and I know Jazzy TV was in here earlier, but I'll go with the Bengals. Before I go, you think Daniel Jones is a Pro Bowler this year? Possible. It's not hard to make the Pro Bowl nowadays, but realistically, let's have moderate expectations. It's possible, but I'm not expecting it. No, don't spam anybody. I never want anybody to do that. Would never ask anybody to do that. Never want anybody to do that. Do not do that. Good night, man. Great stream as always. Can you make the video tomorrow? I will try, Taco. I will try. Let's see what we got here. Bob Papa here, and today I have Dexter. You and Mike too nice are TV ready. No disrespect. I appreciate that, Nikki. Thank you very much. I don't know if that's true, but I appreciate that. But guys, we are going to call it a night. It is 11:23. It's a work night. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for all the support you always show my channel. You guys are the best. You guys are the best supporters on YouTube. And I appreciate all the love you guys always show me, man. You guys always show me so much love, commenting on my videos, coming in my live streams. And I'll continue to put out videos. I will definitely have that up in the community notes. And you guys will get to pick who you guys want on the channel. So I'll probably have that up tomorrow or the day after. So be sure to check out the community notes. And I don't know if it'll be Tuesday or next Sunday, but the next time I do one of these, I'll definitely... oh, my God, Asia. Thank you, Asia. Thank you so much, Asia. My God, thank you so much. Nelson, have a great night, man. Let me read this. Asia, thank you so much. $50. My God. Stand up, my sexy entertainer. You wanted to hear something weird? I was just on Sports Live in the ATL live stream, and some dude came on there and shows his thang live. Gang Reed Dave was on there, and two Oh, all right. I'm going to have to pop in there and see what you're talking about, Asia. Not that I'm interested in that, but that sounds ridiculous. But, Asia, thank you so much. You didn't have to do that. Thank you so much for all the love and support you always show my channel. I really appreciate that. And, Roldy, man, no, nobody's got beef with anybody. I shouldn't have even said anything. Somebody just asked me, and it just came out of me. I don't want anybody ever to do... the guy works hard. The guy puts out good content. I'm not trying to... I just don't want to work with the guy. That's all. not trying to watch his stuff. He's educational. He's definitely a Giants fan. Not telling anybody not to watch his content. I just wouldn't work with him. Thank you for the $2 donation. I appreciate it. Whoever has beef with you has beef with me, Chris. No. you guys have a great night. Thank you so much for all the love you always show me. I love all you guys. Thank you guys for everything you always do for my channels, man. Thank you guys. Have a good night, guys.